All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live and welcome to this afternoon's live commentary coverage of the next round of the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series at Rockingham Speedway for this afternoon's main event of Easter weekend when it comes to NASCAR's preliminary series. 250 laps around this 1 mile fast banked, somewhat freshly repaved oval. Lap times are going to be very fast. Going to see a little bit of slipping and sliding in the North Carolina sunshine here this afternoon, and should be a fantastic day for a race. We're going to go through the starting lineup here in a matter of moments. We're not too far away from the drop of the green flag for today's race, and I can't wait to bring you all of the action. Cup Series off for this Easter Sunday, so only 2 live commentary streams this weekend with the truck race yesterday. Congratulations to Corey Heim winning the second leg out of the first 2 legs of the Triple Truck Challenge. $100,000 bonus for him and a very fantastic finish to that race between him and his former ride, driven now by Caden Honeycutt. Came down to the final couple laps to decide that one. We'll see if that'll be the case again here today as well, as we are about to get started. Corey Day with his first career pole yesterday afternoon for the O'Reilly Series qualifying and time trial run. He'll be starting on the pole with the defending series champion Jesse Love starting in the second place position. Rest of the starting lineup as follows in row number 2, Parker Retzlaff and Justin Allgaier. Row 3 for Carson Quapple, Taylor Gray. Row 4, Sam Mayer, Brandon Jones, and rounding out the top 10, Sheldon Creed and Brent Cruz in row 5. Row 6 for Austin Hill and Ryan Sieg, couple of Georgia natives. Raja Kruth in the 88 again this weekend inside of row 7. Second-year O'Reilly Series driver William Sawalich to the outside. Fight King Motorsports is Anthony Alfredo and Harrison Burton for Sam Hunt Racing in row number 8. Row number 9, Jeremy Clements and Dean Thompson. And rounding out the top 10, last year's winner Sammy Smith and LeVar Scott in row 10. Row 11 for Kyle Sieg and Patrick Starpoli. Behind them, row 12, Austin Green and Brennan Poole. Josh Williams, Nathan Bird in row 13. Row 14, Blaine Perkins and J.J. Yaley. Row number 15, Jeb Burton and Alex LeBay. Andrew Patterson, Ryan Ellis in row 16. Row 17, Josh Bilicki, Dawson Cram, Cletus McFarland, Joey Gase bring up row 18. And row 19, rounding out the field, Blake Lothian and Garrett Smithley. That is our full starting lineup, 38 cars for today's live race at Rockingham. We'll go through more of the point standings here in a moment. We are cutting it close for time before the drop of the green flag for today's race. They have the lights out on the pace car, so they will be going green this time by. Live commentary coverage. We'll go flag to flag all the way through this one, obviously, today, and we will be also not only live full flag to flag coverage of today's race, but you'll get to listen into some of the broadcasts. For visual purposes, the CW is where you can watch today's race. So again, the CW, local affiliate, covering all of the O'Reilly Series races for 2026 through 2031. All right. Fantastic weather for racing. Should be a great race in general on a great race track. AJF, Bam Hall, Regine Huddleston, Billy Kramer, Sunshine Coolwater, Bond 1771, Steve J. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I will get the poll for who you think is going to win today's race underway here shortly. For right now, green flag is in the air, and we are underway at Rockingham. Corey Day leads the field down the back straightaway after getting a great launch on the initial start. Jesse Love pretty clear for second by quite a wide margin over Justin Allgaier, the series points leader. As they exit turn 4, Corey Day, the pole sitter, will lead the opening lap of the race. Yesterday's truck race, the pole sitter did not lead a single lap. That was Jake Garcia in that event. But Corey Day off and running early, and we'll see if he can fan out well on the long run. The long run speed for Corey Day has kind of been struggling this season. He's had good short run speed on intermediate tracks. We'll see if the long run will be there. I think this track maybe suits his driving style a little bit better, knowing that there isn't going to be a lot of tire fall off. So if you're good on the short run, you might be good on the long run here as well. Day setting the fastest lap of any with that clean air advantage on the end of the second lap of the race today at 23.816. Actually, that was the last lap he just ran, which was at the end of lap 3, because the end of lap 2 was a little bit quicker than that. "60 laps in stages 1 and 2 today. Final stage will be 130 laps, making up our full 250 lap, roughly 250 mile distance. Spotlight on the field. There are no Cup Series regulars in this weekend's standalone O'Reilly Series race. There will be live pit stops, unlike usual situations with O'Reilly and Truck Series standalone events. We don't usually see a lot of the... Sorry, I was getting sidetracked there. They're showing Cletus McFarland on screen, battling a very loose race car. She's free, boys. She's free. I believe live streaming on YouTube out of Cletus's in-car cam as well, as he makes his debut today so he can run the Talladega race. Got really loose inside a 3 wide, made a great save, and I think just kind of backed out of it after that. That was a gutsy move into the first turn. Lost the side force in the race car when he got underneath of the 07. Just barely keeping it off the inside wall. And no caution, we do stay green. And that is why he is lagging behind the field a little bit and probably lacking rear security after having that big loose moment. That's going to eat the tires away very quick. Looks like the raw feed's down again. Yeah, the usual raw feed is, but we do have at least a live leaderboard, better than nothing. They're at the conclusion of lap number 9 right now, just about 4 minutes into the race. Corey Day's led every lap. He's opened up about an 0.8 of a second lead over Jesse Love and 1.3 seconds over Justin Allgaier in the 3rd place position. Taylor Gray 1.7 seconds back in 4th. Pretty evenly spaced apart. It seems like car to car within those top 5 positions, running behind Day. Yeah, Jesse Love did cross the start-finish line first in this race last year, but the win was for Sammy Smith after failing post-race inspection for that 2 team. Only won 2 races last year, the kind of book beginning, book end. Winning the season opener at Daytona, then the season finale under the championship format with the playoff side of things at Phoenix. This year, Love looking very consistent in the point standings early on. We'll take a look at those point standings as a side-by-side commercial break is ongoing on the CW. Justin Allgaier comes in as a series points leader, winning 3 of the last 4 races en route to his 3 wins so far through the first 7 races total in 2026. Jesse Love second in points is 92 back out of Allgaier for first. Sheldon Creed minus 116 in third. Austin Hill in fourth minus 122 and minus 139 for Carson Kvapil rounding out the top 5 in points. Sammy Smith, defending winner of the race, is 6th in the standings. Pole sitter today, and rookie Corey Day is 7th. Brandon Jones 8th. Parker Retzlaff 9th in points. Great start to the season for him. And Rasha Cruz rounds out the top 10. 11th and 12th, the last 2 drivers in for the chase spots entering today. Sam Mayer 11th and Taylor Gray 12th. Top 12 will make the chase at the end of the 26 race regular season. After today, we still have another 18 races to go in that said regular season. William Sawalich, first driver on the outside, looking in 14th in points. Ryan Sieg is 15th, Brendan Poole 16th, and Jeb Burton is 17th in points. Anthony Alfredo also 13th, just on the outside. First driver out. And the points difference between Taylor Gray and Anthony Alfredo for that transfer spot is 20 points entering this race. Well, starting around mid-pack. 15 laps in, quarter of the way home. In today's O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race. All 15 laps now led by Corey Day. Fast start. There were only 2 cautions for incident in the truck race yesterday, a 200-lap event that lasted around an hour and 40 minutes. Fast lap times, we're going to be seeing maybe a little bit more of that here today. Right, I'll get that chat poll up and running. Just missed the initial start here. So we'll throw Jesse Love, Justin Allgaier, who's been the hottest driver in the series so far. O'Reilly Rockingham race. And I'll put Corey Day in there. Leading laps early, looking strong. fast in both practice and qualifying. Roughy Dead also, it is, just like yesterday, it's down. I wonder if no cup racing has anything to do with it. I don't know how it's looking on the app. I just know on NASCAR.com it's not running at 100%. Back from the side-by-side commercial break, lap 19 at Rockingham. Corey Day setting the fastest lap early, still a 9/10 of a second advantage over Jesse Love in second. Now 2.2 seconds back for Justin Allgaier in third. Carson Kvapil just made a pass for fourth. He is now in that spot at 2.6 seconds out of the lead, and Taylor Gray back to fifth at 2.8 seconds out of the race lead. Top five in the interval between those top five positions here in the first 20 laps. So we're a third of the way through stage one already with a rapid, fast pace to start the action. Tough little fast racetrack. 1 mile track and the lap times are much faster here than, say, at a track like Phoenix. I mean, we're talking about 3 seconds a lap faster here versus Phoenix, where we raced at just about 4 weeks ago on a flat 1 mile surface. Same thing with a New Hampshire. Here in Dover, very, very quick. And similarly to Dover, not a ton of tire fall off. Now that's a concrete surface versus this being an asphalt surface, but not as much tire wear on the concrete surfaces as what we would see with asphalt as well. So that is where the tracks are similar. Tight and narrow up off the exit of the corners. Dover, it kind of widens out in the corner, then tightens up on exit, wall to wall, from inside wall to outside wall, versus here it's just narrow and tight all the way through. Because of the repave, unlike Dover, there isn't as many different lines you could run. Dover track widens out quite a bit over the course of a long green flag run. Now, the track widened out a decent amount during the truck race yesterday. Started from a lane and a half to about 2 to 2.5 lanes. We're not going to see them all the way up near the wall today again, but that groove should widen out a bit from the start. Tight racing between Kvapil and Gray as they go back and forth again. Arby's car of Kvapil sticking it to the outside of Taylor Gray and looking to make the pass back and hold on for this fourth place position. Lap car nearly got in the way of Kvapil trying that wider groove. Taylor Gray wrapping around the bottom, clips the white line, got tight, had to lift to keep it off the car to the outside. Huge head of steam down the back straightaway and pulling clear by several car lengths is Kvapil. Over a 1.5 lead for Corey Day. He's pulling out and pulling away in the early laps. Corey Day, a different Corey, or Corey Heim, excuse me, a different Corey, in the truck race yesterday was able to lead all but 22 laps of that 200-lap race. 178 of 200 laps led. Most laps led in a single race for Corey Heim in the truck series en route to a win. Struggling with some steering issues in the final laps. Allowed for Honeycutt to close late to nearly steal the win away from him. Cletus McFarland just going a lap down at the end of lap 27 at the hands of our race leader, Corey Day. Had that sketchy moment off the start, but he did a good job not wrecking the race car. He's kind of in his own space right now. He's catching somebody for position up off of turn 2. We'll see how he attacks this. It'll be a battle for the free pass spot with the 0 of Garrett Smithley. Charging the entry down to the bottom of the racetrack and blows right by him. Make sure Smithley wasn't 2 laps down there. He was very slow. No, that was a pass for position. Yeah, just kind of lagging back off the start, kind of taking it easy there after nearly spinning out a few laps in. These restarts and starts can be so aggressive for newer drivers to try to get the hang of, so being 3 wide on an already narrow racetrack like this probably wasn't the wise idea to go for it early, but picking them up and putting them down as the run continues on. After initially falling back to about 37th, gained a few spots. Finishing all the laps today and, within a couple laps of the leader, I think should be the goal for Cletus today. If he can complete all the laps, finish around 20th or so, I think that's competent for what I'm expecting out of him. I'm not expecting a whole lot. His teammate Jesse Love running in second right now. He's a defending series champion. I'm not expecting him to be anywhere near where the guy second in points and the defending series champion is running. Austin Hill's actually kind of struggling right now for RCR as well. He qualified well farther behind where Jesse Love was. And really last week, Austin Hill struggled as well at Martinsville. Up until the closing laps of that race, really wasn't inside the top 5, top 10, unlike his teammate. And here this week, he's sitting 16th in the early laps, and he's actually lost 5 positions from where he qualified in 11th. So 21 car struggling right out of the gate here today. Other series statistics entering this weekend, which, by the way, top of the screen, I'm going to edit the point standings when they come back from commercials so you can actually see that. So you can tell I was running behind on getting to the start of the stream today, so I greatly apologize for that. But I'll have the full standings up at the top of the screen here shortly. They come back for commercial. I'll let you listen in from there to the end of stage 1. Corey Day looking like Corey Heim out there. Heim not in the O'Reilly race this weekend. Truck Series only for the Rockingham race dates. ARCA also had their race yesterday before the truck race at the Rock. Severe thunderstorm watch in Cleveland. Yes, there is. I was just seeing that. A lot of counties around here under a thunderstorm watch. Pretty much from Toledo to Cleveland. No rain at the moment. So that's nice. All right, so it was about a 2.5 second lead for Corey Day. I think he's starting to struggle in lap traffic a bit. That lead is now down to a 2.5, and actually Allgaier in third is very close to Love in a battle for second. Getting through maybe a little bit of those faster mid-pack lap cars than what Day was able to get through the first few at the very tail end of the pack.
It's brought to you by Tableau TV. Pay once, watch forever. Tableau car this weekend, Ryan Ellis, as it is each and every week. Such a good ambassador there. Unfortunately, just went a lap down. He's 33rd. Corey Day, well, impressive start.
Yeah, it's tough to combat the pace that Corey Day is setting right now early on in this race, as he gets blocked by a couple lappers. But even when he's got stuck in lap traffic, the next time he gets clear, he goes right back to being the fastest car on the racetrack.
Going by Josh Balicki here in the 07. Balicki finished top 20 in this race a year ago. Next car he'll see, Nathan Bird, who was top 15 in a truck race here last season. So these are drivers that have had positive experiences at this racetrack, but just not able to put up a fight going a lap down early to Corey Day.
And that went perfectly for him there, Nathan Bird, and now J.J. Yaley, where it was looking like it could have got 3 wide, but discretion was the better part of valor for all those drivers. On the right side of your screen, 2 Junior Motorsports drivers, Justin Allgaier and Carson Waffle, have been in quite the battle for the last 10 or so laps. Justin prevailing now.
It's really interesting when you look at these 2 drivers going at it, because you think about the crew chief change, and Rodney Childers comes over to run the 1 operation, and Andrew Overstreet, who was the crew chief on the 1 last year, now with Justin Allgaier. Both have had tremendous speed in the early portion of the campaign. For Carson, especially when he's been driving this 1 car.
Yeah, he's looked really good behind the 1. I think back to Phoenix as a race that maybe got away from him, and I just consistently have said this and feel this way as well in the Arby's on board, that he's a driver that when he does break through and get that win, it will open up a lot of opportunity when that pressure is removed. But right now he's got to fight through some of this lap traffic. Taylor Gray is back to him as you look back at replay of teammates. Give him a little love tap.
Waffle full hell up third, and they continue to go back and forth. Now you see bottom right line, Taylor Gray able to get by that 1, move up to the 4th position, Waffle back to 5th. Something to think about as we go over the course of a long run. Second in lap traffic.
Look at
Our 2 is Love. Allgaier said, I'm going to run to the rim.
Nathan Bird's like, where he comes from? There's everybody here, but a great move by Justin Allgaier to get around Jesse Love as he's stuck in traffic, but now Justin's behind Yaley there. I was easily able to navigate through the outside and out to the inside into 3.
Stage 1, 60 laps. Stage 2 is 60 laps. That final stage going to be right around 120, 125 after everything cycles through. We say it so much. Track position here is huge, and you have to be able to execute over the course of the long haul, and that 7 really starting to show us up right now.
He is, and one of the things he knows is that some of those drivers in these cars that you're lapping are really hanging on for dear life. At a high-speed racetrack like this, a lot of time in the high bank corners, when there's ill-handling cars, you're lapping them and just get incredibly for them. And he saw this opportunity, a bit of risk going all the way up there on a repave. It's how brave do you want to be out in that gray area? Justin goes up there and gets the big mow off the top to take place.
And just a little nudge coming through. Thank you very much. See William Suwalich here trying to get another spot. He's up to 8th in the running order. Make it 9th, going for 8th. And does it around Sheldon Creed. Brent Cruz waiting as well in the 19. 4 Gibbs cars now in the top 10.
And it's just amazed me how all these leaders have navigated through this traffic. We've had so many close calls around here as they try to go through all of them.
17, now 16 to go stage 1. Day, your race leader.
All right, 16 laps to go in stage 1. Corey Day still out in front, but the lead has been decreased down under a second as the gap to Justin Allgaier in P2. Jesse Love is in 3rd place, Taylor Gray 4th, Carson Kvapil 5th, and Parker Retzlaff in 6th. Brandon Jones 7th, William Sawalich 8th, Sheldon Creed 9th, Brent Cruz rounds out the top 10. Stage points on the line at the end of lap 60. Getting close to that point here. Caution free so far in these first 48 and counting out of 250 here today. Sunshine Coolwater, thanks for tuning in. Anyone remember Carl Long's flip at Rockingham? That's right. Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I actually forgot about that. Way back when. I've seen a clip of it. One of the more obscure rollovers in NASCAR, at least at a track that you wouldn't expect it. Austin Sullivan, welcome to the stream. Allgaier on a gutsy move, 2nd. Going 3 wide around Jesse Love in a lap car. Yeah, very aggressive early in this season so far for Allgaier that I've seen out of his driving style, and it's panning out for him. He's not only finishing races, but he's winning races and running consistently from start to finish as well. Getting close to the end of stage 1. $11 laps left in the stage. When they're not on a commercial break, I can't see the lap counter on my local CW because of the severe thunderstorm watch that's going on right now. All the local counties that are under that watch or warning. It's kind of blocking off the entire leaderboard. So luckily we have the raw feed here available, but hopefully that doesn't become an issue for me late in the race, trying to figure out what lap they're on. Caution's out for the first time today. The 55 car has gone for a spin. That was a lapper. Driven by Blake Lothian. He was in the 37th place position already, 2 laps down. And now a spin. So this caution's late in the stage. 11 laps to go in stage 1 at the time of the yellow. Corey Day's led every lap from the pole so far. He had as much of a 2.5 second lead, but Allgaier got within a second before the yellow flag. Looking a little bit better on the long run after getting by Jesse Love a handful of laps ago for 2nd. Lothian was in the outside lane, had Carruth underneath of him. In 11th place, just trying to make a pass, and he lost it. No contact between the 2 cars. Near miss for Cletus McFarland as the 55 is rolling down the bank into the racetrack. Cletus trying to get to the apron. That was a close call. Probably look pretty neat out of the dash cam, the onboard cam for that 33. Pete Creamer, thanks for tuning in. I think we're going to see a lot of people pitting before the end of the stage, and maybe some staying out to get track position enough to go for stage points. So should be a split strategy because we'll get to the restart well before the end of stage 1. With this coming out with 11 laps to go. So expect some split strategy. The pit road should be open here pretty soon, considering it was a lazy enough spin in turns 3 and 4. 1 and 2, sorry. And Corey Day leads the field onto pit road.
That's what we're seeing. The front runners coming in exit pit road led by Corey Day. And that 17 has the #1 pit stall. Something to think about here, Dylan.
Yeah, and as you'd expect, they were pretty happy with the balance. Corey said it was on the loose side, but not like yesterday. That was their one major battle in practice. They'll go around here and change 4 tires. No adjustments, though, for the 17. They're happy, Tim.
And you see the 2 of Jesse Love and the 7 of Justin Allgaier stopping in their boxes right now. On Jesse Love's machine, he said it trended free. Easy to get the right rear hot, but he said the track tightened up at the end, so leave it alone. They'll put tires, take fuel on that machine. And then for Justin Allgaier, he said, I'm just too free with the right rear. That is where I'm struggling the most, so he's going to tighten it up. Andrew Overstreet with an air pressure adjustment. No wrenches in them.
Jesse Love wins the race off pit road, picking up 2 positions from 3rd to 1st. Brandon Jones, William Sawalich for JGR, both up 2 spots as well. Quapple down 2 and down 1 for Day and Allgaier. Up inside the top 5. Brent Cruz for the 19 team at Joe Gibbs Racing also gaining 2 spots on pit road. Problems for Sam Mayer as his team is underneath the hood of that 41 Haas Chevrolet. For a lengthy stop for Mayer, he's going to be going at the tail end of the lead lap. Quite a few drivers going to be taking the wave around with this late stage caution. They'll be able to run for old tires for a few laps, and then with the stage yellow coming up, pit for their fuel and tires for the first time at that yellow. So pretty much everybody that was a lap down trying to get the wave around. Now, if they were not close enough to the leaders from where Taylor Gray was running, who was in, I believe, 6th, and I believe Taylor Gray may have stayed out. Gray will be the leader on the restart. And Jesse Love, who won the race off pit road, is in 5th. That's going to keep a lot of these drivers from actually being able to take the wave around because not all the lead lap cars pitted, so never mind on that sentiment when I said that there were going to be a lot of drivers taking the wave around. I think they attempted to, but just by a few lead lap cars staying out, that's going to prevent them from being able to do so. Ryan Ellis gets the free pass in 28th for being the first car a lap down at the time of the caution. So the battle for 29th place is going to be the battle for the free pass when we get back racing for a short stint to the end of stage 1. The 4 cars who stayed out of the pits were Taylor Gray, Anthony Alfredo, Sammy Smith, and Kyle Sieg. No surprise for Gray and Alfredo to stay out. They were 12th and 13th in points early in the season, so going for those stage points knowing that they're in a high-tested battle early in the season for the final chase spot. And for Gray, he's expecting to fully compete for the championship, so, get himself a little higher in the regular season standings, more than just 12th. If possible. Sam Mayer, who came in 11th, having problems early. They were underneath the hood of that race car. That could be a spot he can jump up in points today as well. So pick up on that. It's more than just the race to get into the chase. It's the race to just finish as high as you can in the regular season points. So when the chase begins, you're ultimately higher when those standings begin. And all to make your chances that much greater of having a better points finish at the end of the season. Packed crowd on hand at Rockingham Speedway, near sellout for today's O'Reilly Series Saturday afternoon race. The main event of the NASCAR weekend with the Cup Series off. They'll be back at it at Bristol next week. All 3 of the top series, Truck, O'Reilly, and Cup racing, will be going on at the half-mile, world's fastest half-mile, Bristol Motor Speedway. Can't wait for that. That's my favorite track, and Always fun to go back to Bristol. So, next weekend, Friday through Sunday, we'll be live on the channel Bristol Motor Speedway for some high-quality NASCAR action. All right, we're going to get to the restart here. Green flag back in the air. I believe 6 laps to go in the stage as Taylor Gray on the old tires trying to hang on in front of the field. Corey Day already going from 5th, actually 6th because he lost a spot in the pits, inside of row 3 to 2nd. Getting by all the drivers on old tires but one. Jesse Love on the outside able to get to 4th place. He's still got a couple cars in front of him on old tires, and he's still to the outside of the 20 of Brandon Jones. It looked like he had him cleared, but let him back underneath through 3 and 4. 3 wide in the back half of the top 10, still battling for stage points there as well. Corey Day with the fresher tires is bearing down on our leader. 4 laps to go, this time behind the stage. Taylor Gray, he's going to have to put up a fight to try to hold on. If he doesn't make a mistake and Day can make a quick pass without these two battling too much, he could still have a very good opportunity to still finish 2nd in the stage. Not a lot of tire wear here at Rockingham, so he can get away with these old tires for a 6-lap stint. Over-under move by Corey Day. Saw Corey Heim pulling off that move several times yesterday. Day to the inside of Gray on the backstretch, headed into 3 and 4. Day loses the nose of his race car, though, has to wash up the track lift. Still side by side with Gray off the exit of the corner, but that allows Sammy Smith now to be in the picture for the stage win also. Day will slide up clear through turns 1 and 2 as he barrels off into the corner, and he's still clear, now by about 2 car lengths off the exit of turn 2. Sammy Smith, an aggressive block throw, middle of the back straightaway on Brandon Jones, who was looking low. Both Smith and Jones on old tires. Jones squeezing his way by down on the bottom. Not a lot of room to get underneath the 8 car, but that was an impressive move nonetheless. Clean and aggressive. 3 wide off turn 2, and Jesse Love had nowhere to go but to get out of the gas to keep from hitting the wall as Sammy Smith washed up the 7 of Allgaier. Another 3 wide move, kind of putting Jesse Love in a bad spot. But because this one's on a restart, Love's going to lose several positions. Falling from 4th all the way back to about 6th, and on the outside of a battle for 7th with Raja Karuth, who was not able to win that battle. He backs up, and Taylor Gray looking to pick up a spot on the 88 also. Brandon Jones has caught his teammate Taylor Gray, who wiggles up the track through 3 and 4. They'll battle side by side to the line for 2nd. Corey Day, several car lengths still out in front, will win stage 1 in dominating fashion here at the Rock. 55 laps led in stage 1 for Corey Day out of 60. And the only laps he didn't lead were because he pitted when the top 4 stayed out on a restart. Got his way by a couple laps before the end of the stage and still gets the stage win. Taylor Gray staying out of the pits picks up 2nd place stage points. He was running 6th, so that is a 4-point swing for him. Brandon Jones finishes 3rd in the stage. Justin Allgaier in 4th after running 2nd before the caution. William Sawalich was 5th. Then Jesse Love 6th, Sammy Smith 7th, Roger Karuth 8th, Brent Cruz 9th, and Parker Retzlaff rounds out the top 10. Actually, it looks like Brent Cruz was 8th and Roger Karuth 9th as it changed on their leaderboard there under the yellow. So they must have had a close side-by-side finish that Cruz actually gets awarded the spot. Again, that was for 8th. So end of stage 1, first career stage win for Corey Day in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. A first career pole, now a first career stage win. 21% of our 28 votes in the chat poll voted for Corey Day to go for the win. He's definitely looking like a contender here this afternoon. Top 3 cars, pretty much the 3 that are on our chat poll. And you have until the end of stage 2 to vote for that. And I'll actually wait till stage 3 starts because I didn't get it up until later in the race. So I'll wait until halfway through the race, which will be early in stage 3 before I actually close the poll today. Yes, free pass going to go to 28th place, Blaine Perkins. So Perkins back on the lead lap. Lothian with that spin still on the track 2 laps down as he was running at the time of the spin. All 38 cars that started the race have made it through stage 1. 28 of which will be on the lead lap to start stage 2. 2 lead changes, and this now our second caution of the day, the stage break. One for incident at lap 49. 7 laps counting spent under yellow now that we're under the stage caution. Should see a lot of those drivers who pitted before the end of the stage staying out. Those that stayed out to go for those stage points going to be buried in traffic now. So we'll see if that's going to be worth the risk by Taylor Gray. He was running 6th. He probably would have finished a little bit worse than that with the cars that did also stay out had he pitted. So it does save him stage points, but now he's going to be buried in traffic and might have a harder time getting any stage points for stage 2 because of the strategy he's on. And knowing it's going to be very difficult to pass on a track that doesn't have a lot of tire wear. And while the groove is widening out, the track itself not very wide. For today's live commentary stream, our goal is going to be to get to 50 likes. With this being a standalone weekend, maybe a lot of you don't realize that there is any NASCAR going on this week, but we did get to our like goal of 50 for the truck race yesterday. We'll see if we can get there for the O'Reilly race today also. Check to see where we're at right now on likes. So far, we are sitting at 31 likes, so very well possible we can get there again. Pit road going to be open shortly. Billy Kramer keeping me updated on our Tigers and Cardinals game. 8-6 Tigers in the 6, high scoring. Much more scoring than they had yesterday afternoon. Pit road is open.
Top 10 and get stage points. And they will pit now to get their scheduled service now that the stage is complete.
Yeah. Taylor Gray was reflecting on that charge to the end of stage 1 and was bummed to not get the stage win. Said he had a moment in turn 1, but would have liked to get that extra point. Still got 9 there at the end of stage 1. Said his biggest concern was they just fell snug on corner exit. So it looks like maybe just an air pressure adjustment. 4 tires and fuel for 54, Tim.
Sandy Smith making his first stop of the day. Dan actually intended on stopping at lap 51, that caution with everybody else, but Corey Shea called him in too late. The crew chief apologizing for that, but telling his driver, you hung on great. They did collect a couple of stage points. Sammy just saying 2 free landings, so they do make that left rear wedge adjustment you see right there.
Well, you got to be thankful you got stage points because you lose all that track position now as everybody else stays out. Let's go on board with Jesse Love. It's on. And good night. Let's show. Just hang on to that thing. Stage 2 comes out.
All right, so end of stage 1. Again, Corey Day, your stage winner, 59 of 65 laps led so far for the driver, the number 17, the rookie. Brandon Jones sitting in 2nd, Justin Allgaier 3rd, William Sawalich 4th. 5th is Jesse Love. 6th place will be Brent Cruz on the restart with Raja Karuth in 7th, Parker Retzlaff 8th, Carson Kvapil 9th, Ryan Segan 10th, Harrison Burton 11th, and Jeremy Clements up to 12th. A little bit different than the finish to the end of stage 2 because of those 4 drivers staying out to go for the stage points. They have pitted, shuffling some of that top 10 and top 5 up a few extra spots. All right, up to 37 likes already. Greatly appreciate that, everybody. Maybe we can get to our goal of likes by the end of stage 2. That would be awesome. 40 concurrent viewers watching. Thanks for everybody tuning in here this afternoon. 33 is the number of votes that we have in our chat poll. Justin Allgaier, who has not led yet today, does lead our chat poll at 42% of the votes. Only 9% taking Jesse Love, who was, for the most part in that stage, running between 2nd and 3rd. Started on the front row. That's surprising he's that low in the voting poll. Corey Day at 21%. I'm quite surprised he's actually that high considering he hasn't won yet, but he was looking great so far this weekend. Yesterday in practice and qualifying, very fast. There's a reason he's on the pole, and I just think a track with not a lot of tire fall off suits him well, where he can just go out there and run a bunch of fast laps. He doesn't have to worry about the tires fading because he is naturally quick, and I've noticed that on intermediate tracks, he's fast on the short runs. Just kind of burns his stuff up a little bit, and he's not there for later in the run. Saw that at Vegas. He was leading laps on a couple different short runs on restarts, and then he would fall back to about 5th or 6th over the course of the run. So here this week he can get to the lead early, and it's going to be harder for him to not only lose track position, but to probably fall that far back. You know, Justin Allgaier might be a little bit quicker later in the run and through lap traffic, but outside of that, I think Corey Day is probably, if not the first best car, the second best. Did take Allgaier a little bit to get by Jesse Love in traffic before he started eating into the lead on Day. But then he lost the spot on the restart to Brandon Jones, so he's going to be restarting in third again. We'll see how he takes care of it. Brandon Jones has not been great on restarts this season when at the front of the field. I've noticed that. Obviously, Darlington, he got beat on a late race restart despite being the control car late. Held up Kyle Larson as well in the late going, and Justin Allgaier was able to steal the win that day, so maybe Allgaier could steal a spot on this one. Take a quick break, our second of the race today. You're listening live on KRC to full live commentary coverage of today's O'Reilly Series race at Rockingham. Tim Johnson, thanks for tuning in. CW Battle Cam, bunch of BS views to show Corey Day, even though he dominated the first stage. Well, that's tough. I don't really watch the Battle Cam. Unless you're just talking about like the regular CW sports coverage. They've showed him quite a bit on the normal broadcast, I felt. There wasn't much of a battle in that first stage, so, you know, you're kind of trying to show as many battles as you can for position. He was just dominating. They would glance and be like, yep, he's still leading, still looking good, still looking good. Only so much you can kind of cover there. I got Kyle Petty on the Arby's pit box today. Yes, our usual Arby's sponsorship. I actually have McDonald's here. I'm kind of cheating today. I got some breakfast this morning I didn't get to eat, so at some point I'm going to be smashing my sausage, egg, and cheese bagel that I was saving for some time later. I haven't had Arby's in so long. Is this the first sighting we've seen of Kyle Petty on a CW O'Reilly broadcast or Xfinity broadcast last year? I don't remember him on any races. Is this a new acquisition? Usually works with NBC. But picking him up on the CW all of a sudden. My neck, by the way, all out of whack. So if I'm moving around very stiff, I doubt you guys notice in the chat. But like I am having a hard time both looking down, like down, if I like actually pull my neck, or to the left. Right, I'm fine. Left, it is so tight, like right in here. I woke up tight, and as the day is going on, it's getting tighter and tighter. I feel old. Probably not something that somebody my age should be saying, but I don't feel 100% today. I can tell you that much. I was playing basketball yesterday too, and I think that might have something to do with it. I don't know how I would have pulled my neck, but I might have. I've been very active this week. Volleyball on Thursday, basketball yesterday, golfed a little bit this morning. Green flag back in the air. I think I'm just throwing my neck out over time. Corey down the inside of row number 1. Brandon Jones outside of row 1 does not fire off well on the restart. Jones has to get better on these restarts if he's going to win any races in late race restart situations this season. He does settle in second place, and I'm not going to fault him there because Corey Day was the control car. I didn't think he was going to be able to hold on for second with Allgaier kind of hanging on the inside through 1 and 2, but Jones had a good run off the exit of the corner, and Allgaier did not. So much so that Allgaier is actually in danger of losing third now to William Sawalich in the 18. They've been side by side for about a full lap. Taylor Gray on the outside as well, looking to get back in line. Oh, one car slamming against the wall off turn 2. That was Jesse Love. I'm not sure if there was contact from Carruth in the 88 who was underneath of him or not, but Love washed up the track into the wall off turn 2. And that was a pretty decent shot. Slide job by Carruth trying to take Love's line away, and he's going to take his spot away as well. Make sure all the tires are going to be up on that 2 car. It's actually kind of middle of the backstretch, and Carruth did get into the back of the 2. He mistimed pulling out a line behind him to sweep to the inside, caught him in the back bumper, and that's how Love got against the fence. Don't think that that was intentional, if I had to guess. Even though it's showing that there was a little bit of an on-track situation between Carruth and Love just last week in Martinsville, I don't think that that was intentional, if I had to guess. It looked like he missed time pulling out a line. But 2 weeks in a row, these two making contact on the track. So made contact several times, had a discussion after the race was over. Nothing too heated, at least. Icy high. I'm definitely going to be icing or something. Like, my neck has not been this tight in a long time. Not somebody that has like neck problems or whatever, so it's just kind of weird that I'm as tight as I am. Gotta stretch more, that's for sure. Frederico Sanchez, by the way, thanks for tuning in. Didn't shout you out in the chat yet. As well as everybody else who is watching today's live commentary of the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race at the Rock. About a third, the back half of that first stage before the caution at lap 50. Dean Thompson on the pit road in the 26 for an unscheduled stop. And that team will go to change tires at least on the right side here. That's going to drop Thompson off of the lead lap. Sam Mayer, who had some engine problems at the end of stage 1, and I mentioned he was on pit road for a lengthy period of time at the lap 50 caution. He was still in the lead lap. Then he was on pit road for an even longer period of time during the second stage. Not sure what they changed there, but I would imagine they had to make some sort of a massive change because he's now 2 laps down in 36th. That's going to be very difficult for him to get back on the lead lap today, even if that issue is resolved. Just by way of how many cars are 1 lap down, and being 2 laps down is tough to come back from. Can't get the free pass when you're that far back. And we could see more lap cars either in stage 2 or stage 3 if we actually go caution free for a longer period of time than we did back at stage 1. Top 5 in the running order here, almost midway through the second stage. Corey Day leading. Brandon Jones is second. William Sawalich third. Brent Cruz up to fourth. And Justin Allgaier has fallen to fifth on the restart. After running as high as second back in stage 1, he has not led a lap yet today. Still leads our chat poll for who you think is going to win today's race. Patty at Rumdy Creations, thanks for tuning in. My mother told me there comes a time when you wake up in the morning and say, what's going to hurt today? Oh, no. And my body's usually feeling pretty good. Like I said, I was telling you how active I've been this week, and I just think I pulled something in my neck that I didn't know until I woke up in the morning. I'd be doubling up on my pillows tonight. Allgaier's percentage to win has dropped down to 41% a bit, but Corey Day's percentage has dropped as well. He was at 22% back in stage 1 in our chat poll, and now he's down to 17% despite the fact that he's still leading. He's not driving away as impressively as he did back in the first stage, and the JGR Toyota is starting to take over in the speed side of things, running second through fourth. Sawalich, Brent Cruz have never won in this series. Cruz, another rookie. That 19 car. And I believe will be running the rest of the season since turning the age of 18 a few weeks ago. Missing a couple races at the start of the year because of just being too young. He couldn't run the super speedways at Daytona and Atlanta. So his first race was actually at Coda. And he was still at the age of 17 then, but you could run short tracks and road courses before the age of 18. So he ran the next 2 weeks, and I believe then he was off at Vegas, and now he's 18, so he can run the rest of the schedule. So missed the first 2, missed 3 races total. Curious to see if he can still get up into the chase by the end of the regular season after missing those 3 races. The equipment around him is going to be good enough, but as he is still a rookie and going to a lot of these tracks for the first time, going to be a bit of a learning curve. But here this weekend, he's picking up fast, laying down some good lap times. Showed some great flashes of brilliance at the end of the Truck Series season last year on a part-time schedule, including leading a lot of laps at the Roval and finishing second to Corey Heim that day. He's got 2 top 10 finishes already in just 3 starts in his first 3 starts in the O'Reilly Series this season. So 3 starts this year, and he's 21st in points. I mean, that's pretty good. You consider he's ahead of guys like Clements, Austin Green, Nick Sanchez, Harrison Burton, who have ran all the races this year, and he's only had 3. So pretty solid start. And he's having a great run in the top 5 here today as well. Still got quite the jump to get up to 12th in the standings. He's over a race out of 12th place on a teammate Taylor Gray, which is going to be tough to catch. Sam Mayer having a poor day today, 11th in points, so probably going to fall out of the top 12. And William Sawalch, another driver outside the cutoff line, running in the top 5 right now. Just all in all, JGR having a pretty good day today behind Corey Day, who's leading. And Junior Motorsports, really, I mean, they don't look as strong as what Corey Day and the Hendrick Chevy is able to do, a kind of in-house teammate, if you will. JRM, outside of Allgaier at 5th, you got Quapple in 9th, has fallen back since the start in the top 5. And Sammy Smith, the winner of this race last year, has been really nowhere to be found back in 15th. Got some stage points because he actually stayed out of the pits to get those stage points back in stage 1. Taylor Gray, who finished 2nd in the stage, also stayed out. He's worked his way up to 17th. 10 positions gained since the restart for Gray. 26 cars on the lead lap. Josh Williams currently the first car, 1 lap down. Cletus McFarland watch. He's 2 laps down in 33rd right now for anybody watching the stream for him today. Just past halfway through stage 2. Brandon Jones still within a half a second of Corey Day up at the front of the field. And back full screen now after the commercial break. Clements trying to work his way forward, though. Mentioned outside the top 20 in points. He's getting 18 spots. Oh, from the start of the race, it's just talking about how good he was doing, and now he spins. Well, he was in 8th. Not anymore. Did a great job keeping it off the inside walls. The car rolled down the bank. He just lost it. Same exact spot, Blake Lothian, center of turns 1 and 2 in that outer lane. Got a little loose. Car slips out from underneath him. He regathers it. He's not going to lose all of his track position, but he's going to fall to at least 15th, 16th because of the spin. It looks like 17th is where Clements has scored now as he regains momentum. But was running 8th, just made a pass for 8th, in fact, right before that slide. And just like we did back at stage number 1, there's a chance we may see some pit stops. Now, we're not as close to the end of stage 2 as what we were stage 1 when we saw the last caution. Just got by Quapple for position. Like just carried too much speed on entry in that higher line. He spun more in the front half of the corner than Blake Lothian did. Doesn't really look like he got up out of the groove as much as he just carried a bit too much speed. He had a slight wiggle right before the actual spin. It almost like the car got tight. Tried to put a little bit too much wheel in it to keep the car from spinning out and kind of overcorrected and causing that slide and that spin. We'll see how he recovers. He's shown some speed in some races this year. In fact, the last 1 mile oval at Phoenix, he was up inside the top 5 late. Fell back to 10th on a late restart, but Some improvements have been made for that 51 team this season, all in all, and I don't think we've seen the last of him in the top 10 today, honestly. Keeping that car clean. Something to be had there today. 90 of 96 laps led for Corey Day. Track position, name of the game here at Rockingham so far. Corey Day's had all of it. You have to see exactly how that 17 car is in heavier traffic if he is to lose the lead. He got to the lead pretty quickly, getting to second and then only having to pass Taylor Gray on the restart late in stage 1 to get back out in front in that 6 lap or so dash. Pit road is open this time. Jesse Love is going to pit from 6th. And then it's going to be a few positions further back before we see cars pitting outside of the top 10. So Love's on pit road. Very few are on their way in. Clements, who just spin, is in.
Staying out right now. Just too much time left in the stage.
Ryan Sieg's in.
Position. It's Jesse Love, Kim.
Yeah, Jesse, just a little closer to neutral on the last run, a bit snug in the center, but he doesn't feel like he's losing speed there. Feels like he loses speed from being free on exit, so they will look for a slight adjustment on that 2 car as he makes a stop in his box right now.
Well, we're probably going to get a show. You put him back there and watch him drive through. Track position has been a big deal, but if anybody can make it work, I think Love can.
He has not been afraid to move around this racetrack and get some nice, I think.
And driving.
All right, Corey Day leading the way. 91 laps led so far at the Rock. He'll be leading to the next restart also. Brandon Jones in second. William Sawalich third. Brett Cruz fourth. Justin Allgaier fifth. Raja Karut slides up to sixth with Jesse Love pitting. Carson Quapple now seventh. Parker Retzlaff eighth. Harrison Burton ninth. Sheldon Creed in 10th. Austin Hill up to 11th. And Sammy Smith now 12th. There were a few cars that hit pit road, but not many. My guess is they pit now. They can make it on one more stop to the end. They'll probably stay out at the stage break. They're going to have about, by the time we go green, 20 lap green flag wise older tires. But I don't think that's going to be terrible for them, though, either. Yeah, Day's been very competitive today. Most competitive we've seen him. Honestly, a track like this fits his driving style well. If we don't see a lot of fall off at Bristol next week, I think that'll be a good track for him. And he has ran there before. He actually ran the summer race in the O'Reilly Series last year. So it's going to be a track where he's actually been at. One of the few on the series schedule in this car. And I think Dover is going to be a good track for him as well when we do get there on All-Star break weekend in May. It'll be a points-paying race at Dover for the O'Reilly Series season that weekend, but the Cup Series will have a shorter All-Star-like race. All right, since we're under caution, we'll take another break here while we await the restart. You're listening live on KRC. Full flag-to-flag coverage continues at the Rock. Alrighty. Should be getting the green flag this time by. Lights will be out on the pace car when they do come back from commercial. Cool to see a packed crowd on hand for the O'Reilly race. Just brings me back to the older times, older days. I don't think there's any Corey Day doubters out there. As much as there is just people watching him, run into guys. And I will say that was the first 3 weeks of the season, and we haven't seen any of that since. He has cleaned it up very quick. It was an ugly start to the year, but cleaned it up quick. He's putting together clean races. He's getting faster. Now he's, leading a bunch of laps here. We saw him lead for a brief moment think on a restart at Martinsville last week with alternate pit strategy, and then Vegas he was legitimately leading. Now here he is dominating at Rockingham. By far his best race so far, but we're still in the first half of this one. Long ways to go. Green flag back in the air. Another great restart for Day to get the jump out in front. Brandon Jones settles in second. JGR 2 through 4th. Yet again, Allgaier will hold on for 5th place off the exit of turn 4, carrying great momentum as he stays in front of his teammates Roger Carruth and Carson Quapple. Taylor Gray up to 13th place. That alternate pit strategy caution kind of helps get him caught back up with some of the pack here, and he may still have a shot at some stage points despite being on that alternate strategy back in stage 1. Allgaier looking to the inside of Gray through 3 and 4, but can't keep the momentum up off the exit of the corner. We'll have to stay in line behind him headed into 1 and 2. Gray takes his line away down to the bottom of the racetrack, so Allgaier's going to get a little bit tight in that dirty air and lose just a slight bit of ground to him again. Curious to see after the spin how Jeremy Clements recovers after running 8th, and also Jesse Love, who is 26th. One of the few cars that hit pit road. He was in 6th place at the time of the caution. Now, he did get into the wall early in stage 2 on that initial restart, and I think that was probably a lot of the reason why they came into the pits, maybe pull out the fenders, try to help that car aerodynamically. It was maybe dealing with some handling issues after that wall contact out of turn 2 earlier, so if I had to guess, that is why Love probably came onto pit road, sacrificed that track position. Burning a set of tires, but the good news is there's not a lot of fall off, and like I said already, I think he stays out at the end of the stage, and we'll see how he does on old tires as the leader at the beginning of stage 3. Likely should be the leader. If not him, it'll be Clements. And Clements is actually already up to 16th, which is 10 spots higher than what Jesse Love is running right now, so great restart by Clements. Now 14th place, 11 positions gained for the 51 car. Does he have 30 lap pressure tires? Yes, but he is driving through the pack much faster than the few others that pitted with him. Now 12th place for Clements. And there's still 13 to go. I think he can get back up to 8th, where he was running anyway. Tires not meaning a whole lot here. I think he got a get out of jail free card when he had that spin, and the timing in which it did happen. And obviously making the save and not making contact with the wall, keeping the car clean amidst the spin. Pass for second, ongoing for Sawalich as he's going to be clear up out of turn 4, barely getting up in front of Brandon Jones. Not much of a battle there. Finally had a run on him out of turn 2, got to the inside into 3, pulled clear out of 4, making it look easy. Sawalich quickly pulling away from Jones, who's very tight. And Taylor Gray now might have a shot at 3rd here before long on that 20. Oh yeah, Jones is tight. Center of the corner, that car just shoved up the racetrack in line behind Sawalich trying to wrap the bottom. And, I mean, center of the corner, that car is just looking like it's going for the wall. Lost a ton of ground, and now Gray is going to get by him through 1 and 2. They're going to have to loosen that 20 car up a ton. Might even have to move up out of the bottom lane, honestly. At least to get to the end of the stage before he loses too many more positions. Points are going to be on the line here shortly. Just 10 laps to go this time by in stage 2. Need all the points he can get. Allgaier right there as well. And now he did change his line to kind of go in a lane to a lane and a half above where Brent Cruz was running, who just made the pass on him. Now he's going even wider through 3 and 4, so this should help the handling a bit as he tries to keep in front of the 7. And we'll see actually running this middle to upper groove. It's going to be better for him and maybe put a charge back to the 19. Not making Allgaier's job any easier trying to make the pass for position, that's for sure. Now Allgaier trying to change his line middle of the corner and do something different to that of Brandon Jones. Kind of a little bit of a defensive mirror driving by the 20 car now. Allgaier's got a lot of pressure on him for 4th up out of turn 2. Down the backstretch into 3. Allgaier about a half a lane below the 20 car. Center of the corner, the 20's just not rotating well. there's a midpoint through the corner where he loses speed. It's almost like he can't get back to the gas as soon as those around him. And that's where the time's being lost right now versus everybody else in the top 5 for Jones. Allgaier briefly got to the inside through 1 and 2. 3 and 4, middle of the corner. Allgaier's back to the gas, slides right back underneath them again, gets good turn off the exit of turn 4 as well. Not going to side draft Jones on the front stretch, but he does pull clear before getting into turn 1. So Allgaier up to 4th. Jones slides back to 5th after restarting in 2nd and running there for about the first dozen laps of green flag action. 109 of 115 laps led today for Corey Day. He's got a 7/10 of a second lead over William Sawalich. Brent Cruz is 1.4 seconds back in 3rd. Justin Allgaier 2.1 out of the lead in 4th. Brandon Jones is 2.8 out of the lead in 5th. 6th place, Raja Kruth at 3.4 seconds out of the lead. Parker Retzlaff 4.1 seconds back in 7th. Sheldon Creed 5.1 back in 8th. Jeremy Clements already up to 9th at 5.9 seconds out of the lead. And Carson Kvapil in 10th is 6 seconds back. 16 positions gained on the restart following the spin by Jeremy Clements. So he's going to get some stage points after all. Jesse Love, who restarted on old tires, might have a bit more damage than what we were expecting. He's still 27th. He's 5 seconds off of Clements in 26th. Some of that, knowing he's going to stay out and there are very few cars that pitted, maybe he's saving his tires where Clements is not. Knowing he's going to stay out and expecting a lot more of the field to do so. Or to pit, I should say, so he can leapfrog him. Clements has a rocket ship right now. Looks like he's got a little boost in the race car. Easy Network, thanks for tuning in. Bet Larson would love this track. Well, he did win a truck race back here in the early 2010s. Those couple consecutive years that they ran. Was battling with Joey Logano down the stretch in that race. A lot of future and current Cup stars at the time. What was a stacked field for those couple of races. When's the San Diego races? Those are supposed to be in the middle of the summer. Sometime in July. Straight race in San Diego for all 3 series. Got 50 likes on the stream. That is our like goal for today, so greatly appreciate that. We'll see how many more likes we can still get before the finish. Thank you all that have hit the like button thus far and have watched today's stream. Second to last lap of the stage through 3 and 4. Justin Allgaier moves into 3rd after making a pass on rookie Brent Cruz. He's going to be a little bit too far behind to catch Sawalich on the final lap of the stage, but he is driving away from Cruz and should hold on for at least 3rd. Corey Day, good on the short run, good on the long run so far, has dominated today from the pole, leading to 115 of 120 laps in the first 2 stages. Wins the first 2 stages to go along with it, and a solid points day for a driver who came in 7th in points. If he can sweep all 3 stages, he could move into the top 5 in points pretty easily after today's action. And maybe, just maybe, he can get that first career win in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, really his asphalt racing series career. The top 3 series in NASCAR, wasn't able to win a truck start. It was looking better at the end of last season. Some of those playoff races running in the top 5. And here he is in O'Reilly, just 8th start this season and looking for a first W. Allgaier, the only driver who's won more than 1 race so far this season, and that counts a couple Cup regulars with wins at the likes of Shane Van Gisbergen at Coda and Kyle Larson at Vegas. Stage 2 winner Corey Day. 2nd was William Sawalich. And Justin Allgaier 3rd. Brent Cruz 4th. Brandon Jones in 5th. 6th, Raja Kruth. Parker Retzlaff 7th. Sheldon Creed 8th. Jeremy Clements 9th. Carson Kvapil 10th. Lot of young guns up in the top 5. Of the top 4, only Allgaier's got a win in the O'Reilly Series. So a lot of the young guns looking good. And even Carruth in 6th and Retzlaff 7th. It's a young gun kind of day here at Rockingham so far. And we kind of saw that last year with Sammy Smith and Jesse Love, who don't have a lot of career wins in this series. At that time especially. Pre-champion Jesse Love out there leading a bunch of laps. More of the same this year. Linda Bollinger, thanks for tuning in. Father's Day, end of June. Okay, yeah, that's right. It is one of the prime races, isn't it? I was thinking it was on TNT during that in-season tournament part of the year, but that is not the case. Good catch. All right, so Corey Day wins the first 2 stages here at Rockingham. I'll keep the chat poll open until we get early into stage 3 since I didn't open that until just after the race started. Usually you would have until the end of stage 2 to vote. No diecast showings this week on a remote location. I don't have any diecast with me. Trying to space them out a little bit though, so I don't have to show one more than once this year. So I haven't showed them for a lot of the truck and O'Reilly races anyway, but was trying to make up a little bit after missing some weeks earlier in the season. Got 50 likes on the stream. Again, thank you for that, everybody. We have gotten to our goal already. And we're going to take a quick break here before pit road opens at the end of stage 2. Listening live to the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series main event of the weekend at Rockingham. Back half of the race still to go. 1 hour, 10 minutes to get through this part. 2 cautions for incident, 1 in each stage 1 and stage 2. This is our 4th caution. 2 for incident and the 2 stage breaks so far. That's all we had yesterday in a 200-lap truck race at Rockingham. Today, that was the first half of a 250-lap O'Reilly race. Relatively tame. We had a lot more cautions in this race a season ago than what we've had so far today. I can pick up in stage 3. We've got a long race left. Obviously, with the first 2 stages being 60 laps in length, they did not have to pit under green flag conditions for fuel and tire purposes. They will have to pit for fuel at some point in stage 3. I believe these teams will have 2 sets of tires left the rest of the way, so maybe how cautions play out, we could see some maybe right side tire pit stops a little later in the race as well. Fuel window going to be right around 80 laps. So 130 definitely not going to make it to the end from here.
It's been incredible. I think we saw in that piece before in pre-race when Mark Martin talked about it, Jeff Burton, Jamie McMurray, Matt Kenseth, they talked about it. I think Corey Day's the only one that paid attention to that piece. Patience, respect for the racetrack. Understand, get in that Rockingham rhythm. He is doing what we've seen so many guys in the past, whether it's David Pearson, Dale Earnhardt Sr., Mark Martin, when he won so many races down here, they just get in that rhythm and they can do no wrong. On the racetrack, he's biding his time, making moves when he has to. And yeah, it looks easy when you're leading, but Parker knows that sometimes it's harder when you're leading to get into that rhythm and stay.
Good point. Really big right now, you execute on pit road.
Right.
You want to maintain the track position and keep control of the race.
That team has had some occasional issues on pit road at times, but they've been very clean here today. And if you want to execute a full race, this is one of those important moments to nail this stop.
Last time a Hendrick car swept the stages last May at Charlotte, William Byron took stage 1, stage 2, went on to win the race. He's a series champion. Corey Day looking like one here today. Progressive pit road is open. Wow. Bit of movement there as we come onto the pit lane. Here they are, Dylan.
William Sawallish will be the first one to peel off from second. Said he was loose in. He has been that way the last couple of runs. Felt like he wore out the right front there. They'll change 4 tires and add fuel. Corey Day said he trimmed it tight. That's built in slowly each run today. Not going to overreact with a chassis adjustment. Just want to get some longevity into it, Kim.
Yeah, for Brent Cruz, very happy with that race car. He said, if we get this thing in clean air, it's going to be a bad deal for everyone else. You see the crew going to the left side, 4 fresh Goodyear tires. Sunoco Field just got really tight on exit. You see Justin Allgaier right there on the right side of the ring. You saw that chassis adjustment. That was for rear lateral. He needed more security, but he also needed to shift tires way freer. So Andrew Overstreet making an air pressure adjustment to help that.
Race off Progressive Pit Road. Ryan Sieg hit it at lap 96, so they come down here maybe playing a little strategy. Jesse Love does stay out. And I look right there, Corey Day lost 5 positions, so he's going to be compromised here as we get the restart. You'd see the race off, final stage on the way from Rockingham on W.
All right, Corey Day losing 5 positions on pit road, 4 of which were to drivers who took 4 tires. Ryan Sieg going fuel only, saving a set of tires after pitting for them at the end of stage 2. Jesse Love, middle of stage 2 with the caution we had right around lap 30 in that second stage. I believe lap 93 overall in the race was when that yellow came out. So green flag run of right around 20 laps to the end of stage number 2. Jesse Love, our current race leader, staying out of the pits as expected. Just trying to save some tires. Jeremy Clements came into the pits with the rest of the leaders, so he's only got 1 set of tires left to the end of the race. Lost some time in the pits as well. He's now 15th for being 9th at the end of stage 1. So for the next restart, Jesse Love stayed out of the pits. Ryan Sieg won the race off pit road, went fuel only. First out of the pits of those that took 4 fresh tires was William Sawalich. He's in 3rd. Then you got Brandon Jones in 4th, Brent Cruz 5th, Justin Allgaier will be 6th, and Corey Day 7th, just behind him. So that will be how stage 3 is going to start. Wade, thanks for tuning in. Well as many others. Like and subscribe for more NASCAR content. Live commentary streams every NASCAR race weekend for Cup, O'Reilly, and Truck Series Racing. Right here on KRC. Cup off this weekend, so no stream tomorrow on Easter Sunday. Hopefully all of you watching have a happy Easter. And our next Cup Series race will be next week at Bristol on Sunday afternoon. We'll go over the start time for next weekend's streams after this stream, since it's the last stream of the weekend. And obviously later in the week, I'll put up a community tab posting of that schedule for Bristol. Truck, O'Reilly, and Cup Series racing next week will be live Friday through Sunday for all of those streams. Friday with the truck race, Saturday doubleheader with Cup practice and qualifying, and the O'Reilly race later that night, and the Cup race, the Food City 500, Sunday afternoon, 500 laps around the half-mile fast banked oval. Curious to see what kind of Bristol race we see with the Cup Series. With the next-gen cars, it's very hit or miss as to whether we see a high amount of tire fall off or if we hardly see any hit all and it's just fast. Definitely makes for 2 very different kinds of races, and the drivers we see up at the front in both of those races very different as well. When am I coming back to gaming again? I have no timetable for that. I know I've stated before, just in the middle of a moving situation, so laying back on the gaming streams until after I'll end up getting settled in. I believe I'll be back home for next weekend's live commentary streams. Maybe not on Friday, but for sure on Saturday and Sunday. Only because I got to work on Friday. Showing replay under the pit stops. The car's coming to pit road. A little bit of a stack up, slow down. Raja Karut had to evade to keep from running into the back of Brandon Jones. Luckily did not speed coming into the pit, so somebody just going too slow there. And I wonder if it was Corey Day who was leading that line. Headed to the restart, Jesse Love inside of row 1 is the control car First lead of the day for the driver of the number 2, staying out of the pits after pitting late in the second stage. He's got about 20 laps on his tires. Same for Ryan Sieg, who went fuel only during that last stop. Green flag is back in the air. Corey Day was inside of row 3 on this restart, by the way, for those wondering. William Sawalich trying to take his first lead of the day. Gets to the inside of Love up off the exit of turn 2. Clean air on the nose as he stays pinched to the inside of Love, who runs the top lane of the track through 3 and 4 now. Side by side for the lead as they cross the front stretch, and it looks like Sawalich actually led that lap by a nose at the line. Trying to get clear up out of turn 2. A little wiggle by the 18. Brent Cruz looking underneath the Sawalich. Side by side in tight contact between the JGR teammates, and up out of the group goes Sawalich into the gray. Had to lift to keep it off the wall. His tires are probably going to be dirty for half a lap or so. Ryan Sieg, Brent Cruz, and Justin Allgaier get by the 18. And just squeezing in line right in front of Raja Carruth is Sawalich. Around the high side, Brent Cruz moving into second, passing the 39 car. Cruz actually leads everybody on 4 fresh tires now, after Sawalich was not able to make a pass on the leader, Love. Love led the most laps in this race last season before obviously ended up with the DQ, which resulted in a last place finish, despite crossing the start-finish line first. So definitely looking for redemption of his own. Maybe not quite the fastest car in the field, but of the fastest, and he's leading now, one way or another. Slight tire detriment. I don't think he's going to be as fast in clean air compared to others, but we'll see. So far, so good for Jesse. Survived those first few laps of the restart. Now he's going to have to survive a different JGR Toyota of Brent Cruz and soon-to-be veteran Justin Allgaier, who's not that far behind the lead as well in third. Sawalich has rallied to get back by Ryan Sieg to fourth, and he's still within a second and a half of the leader. Sawalich not out of this by any means either. 17 laps into the final stage at a 130, lap 137, a 250 total. We're just past halfway through the race, so we are now going to actually close off our chat poll. Since I got it started a little bit after the race, waited till the beginning of stage 3 instead of right at the end of stage 2. Asked you guys who you think will win today's race at Rockingham. Justin Allgaier, 36% of the votes, wins our chat poll. 29% have somebody other than Allgaier, Day, or Love for the win. Jesse Love at 11% of the votes, our leader now. And Corey Day, who's dominated, leading all but 6 laps of stage number 1 and 2 combined, at 24% of the votes. Did grow quite a bit. He was at 17% middle of stage 2, so a lot of people kind of hopping on Corey Day, seeing he probably has the best car so far, at least when he has the track position. Now he's in traffic for the first time today. We'll see if he gets those spots back. He was 6th coming out of the pits. He has now fallen to 8th on the restart. Carruth and Jones got back by him as well. We may not see Corey Day lead again in this race. Crazy that the last driver they mentioned on the broadcast to win an O'Reilly race, winning all 3 stages, was William Byron at Charlotte last spring. That was in May of last year. It is April this season. So all the way through the back 2/3 of last year plus the beginning of this season, we have not seen anybody sweep all 3 stages in this series. And oddly enough, it was the driver of that same car in the 1700cars.com that day for Byron. And Corey Day trying to do that here today. Cruz putting pressure on Love. Love has not slipped the wheel yet. Cruz has not led yet today, but he has ran as high as 3rd, now 2nd, with where he's currently running. Pushes tight in the dirty air behind Jesse Love. Had to lift, center of the corner. Justin Allgaier, big run down the back stretch. Not big enough to try to attack into turns 3 and 4. Tries to run an upper groove of the racetrack, down around the bottom and tight all the way through the corner. Was Cruz. I'm surprised he was that quick all the way through the corner. He had a very shallow entry. Still looked like he kept decent momentum up off the exit of the corner. That car was glued to the white line. He's got to run into 3 and 4 this time. Jesse Love goes to the middle to upper groove of the racetrack. Bottom lane wide open. Cruz rolled the bottom well the last lap. Does it again this lap. will lead at the start-finish line by inches. Near contact at the end of the front stretch into turn 1 as Love tries to hold him tight. Love goes wide up the racetrack again, but Cruz is clear for the lead out of turn 2. Love still holding on for second. We'll see if Justin Allgaier can get by. Allgaier slipping into that middle to upper groove of the racetrack. Gets to the outside of the 2 on the exit of turn 4. Carrying a lot of straightaway speed. Clear advantage for Allgaier into turn number 1, and he is back into second again. Things going to get tight off the exit of the corner. Lap car in front of him has to swing to the bottom of the back straightaway, but he does pull Love. Love did not get into 3 and 4 well at all there, and now Sawalich is all over his back bumper out of turn 4, and Love, who was leading a couple laps ago, in danger of quickly falling to 4th. And that will be the case. Into 1 and 2, Sawalich with a huge head of steam all over the back of Jesse Love. Being patient with him there, but he can't be too much more patient or he's going to lose too much time to the cars that have already cleared the 2. Love just cannot get back to the gas as soon as those cars around him. Very similar to Brandon Jones back in stage 2. Your contact as Sawalich is all over the 2 car, maybe trying to get the air off of the rear spoiler, get him a little loose. Love going to give him a little bit of room now and let the 18 go. Held him off for a few extra laps. Doesn't want to get himself into a scary situation there off the front bumper of somebody else. So lets Sawalich go finally, and William Sawalich moves back into 3rd again. Though he's 2.5 seconds out of the lead, so it did cost him some time. He was within a second of the leaders initially there when Cruz got out in front, so lost a 1.5 seconds. We'll see if he can pick it back up again. Corey Day now has fallen to 9th place as he continues to lose a spot every few laps or so as he's back in traffic for the first time. That car not handling quite as well as it did in clean air. See, that's the problem with a young driver leading those laps. It's kind of hard to stay on top of a racetrack he's never raced at before. Showed a replay of the slow stop. He didn't lose track position on his own, though, to lose the lead. It was the 5 spots lost because of a slow stop on pit road. First stop, they've won the race out of the pits, but not this time. Just slow on the left sides, it looked. Nothing drastic, although the team itself was just not quick enough. 100 laps to go, this time by for Brent Cruz, our current race leader. Justin Allgaier in 2nd, William Sawalich 3rd, Rajah Caruth now 4th, and Brandon Jones in 5th. Parker Retzlaff in 6th, Corey Day 7th, Jesse Love falls to 8th, 9th is Carson Kvapil, and Ryan Sieg rounds out the top 10. Sheldon Creed in 11th, Sammy Smith 12th, Harrison Burke 13th, Austin Hill 14th, and Taylor Gray 15th. 16th is Anthony Alfredo, Kyle Sieg 17th, Brennan Poole 18th, Jeb Burt 19th, and LeVar Scott in 20th. 21st is Jeremy Clements, Austin Green 22nd, Alex LeBay 23rd, Andrew Patterson 24th, and Josh Williams in 25th. 26th is Blaine Perkins, J.J. Yaley 27th, Nathan Bird 28th, Ryan Ellis 29th, and 30th is Dean Thompson. Garrett Smithley in 31st, Cletus McFarland 32nd, Joey Gase 33rd, Patrick Starpoli 34th, and Blake Lothian 35th. 36th, Dawson Cram 37th is Josh Balicki, and Sam Mayer 38th, 16 laps down. He's been dealing with some sort of engine or electrical issues, something causing a power loss in that race car. That's why he is that many laps down in last, just kind of trucking along and hoping for the best. Nobody's retired from the race yet, so that's why he is in last place still. 26 cars on the lead lap as we're still in the first third or first half or so of stage 1. Brent Cruz has led the last 12 laps of the race today. Allgaier's led for 1, Sawalich for 118 for Corey Day after winning the first 2 stages. 6 laps led on a restart in stage 1 for Taylor Gray, at the time on an alternate pit strategy. So 5 different drivers have led, 7 lead changes, 4 cautions, 2 for incident, 1 in stage 1, 1 in stage 2. We have not seen a yellow so far at stage 3. We're down to about 86, 85 laps to go this time by. 26 laps of yellow so far. And we're at 1 hour and 27 minutes and counting into today's race. So that is where we stand. We'll take a quick break. You're listening live. O'Reilly Series action at Rockingham continues. Jesse Love on the pit road and pretty early in this point in the run. I don't know if he can make it on field to the end from here. They're really going to be stretching it. by pitting now. Hoping they can maybe get some of that track position back on fresh tires. Not going to see everybody else pit for a little while yet. They could probably run it down anywhere between 30 to 40 laps to go if we see drivers wait until the end of the run to hit pit road. Jesse Love had fallen to about 8th place before the stop. But he's in now. Irina Sayre, thanks for tuning in. Love has older tires. Yes, about 20 laps worth. Pitting on the short side of the run after staying out of the pits at the stage end. Right on the edge of the fuel window. 86 laps to go. About 80 to 85 is the full fuel window under green flag laps, so they're really going to try to push it. If it stays green to the end, he's going to be close. Get some caution laps in there, he can help himself out. I think the plan, though, is to stay out the rest of the race. And he doesn't need a caution quick because he's going to be a lap down for a while until everybody else hits pit road. So he needs this to stay green for about the next 40 laps or so for everybody else to pit. Saw some drivers on the bad side of a caution yesterday in the middle of green flag stops in the truck race, and that's why we only had 9 drivers finish on the lead lap. But those that pitted early, so Jesse Love hoping not on the wrong side of the strategy there for himself here today. Brent Cruz actually stretching his lead out over Justin Allgaier a bit, 1.4 seconds ahead. When Allgaier first moved into second, it was about a 0.7 of a second advantage for Cruz. Allgaier was about a 10th quicker than Cruz the last lap. We'll see if that continuously will keep up. Mentioned already through the first 2 stages when drivers we saw up towards the front of the field, Cruz, Sawalich, and Corey Day all in the top 4. Allgaier hasn't really led today, 1 lap, and I think that was on pit road during a caution period. He hasn't led under green yet. It's been the young guns at Rockingham getting it done. The first and second year drivers, Cruz, Day, Sawalich, 2 teenagers and a barely 20-year-old. Putting it to the series veterans here this afternoon. Corey Day trying to get some spots back after falling to 9th on the restart. He's battling for 7th with Carson Kvapil. Big run off the high side through 3 and 4 into 1 and 2. Going to take that spot away. Pulled alongside of him out of 4, but completed the pass through 1 and 2. Never mind. Must be that far behind the leaderboard because he got loose in 1 and 2 that go around. Now he goes the outside through 3 and 4. He had a big head of steam the last lap he tried this. Bigger head of steam this time. Gets back to the inside for the second consecutive lap in 1 and 2. Now makes the slide job pass on Kvapil. That was a big slide job. Came across the nose of the 1, and Kvapil actually got into the back of the 17 a bit. Contact was made. Now Day up on the high side through 3 and 4. Well, the car is pretty steady through the corner after that slight contact, but holds on for now. Kvapil not able to hold on with that 17 car. Man, Cruz is setting sail right now. Cruising is Brent Cruz. Well, Saturday afternoon drive. Five laps led in the first 3 races that he has ran so far in 2026. 22 laps led and counting thus far today. For the barely 18-year-old. Caution lights are on here at Rockingham, our 5th yellow of the day. Looks like we have a spinner off turn 4, and that would be the 96 of Anthony Alfredo. Looks like he's got a flat left front tire. A lot of sparks coming out from the splitter, dragging across the ground. Flat left front tire for Anthony Alfredo, bringing out our first caution of stage 3. Not quite the longest green flag run of the day. And now it looks like the right front tire also down. So the left front and right front tires are down, and the right front is just tearing apart the fender on the 96.
That situation now has been way worse. And here's the spin. It was off of 4. He was already really sideways, having an issue. And eventually the car got away. Looks like possibly maybe had a front tire down. Maybe he was trying to get to pit lane late. And then this is exactly what is the nightmare of a crew chief when they hear that you have a flat tire and you're not near the pits. They don't want this to happen.
Let's go back to that strategy conversation. You and I were talking earlier off air. You get to 90 laps, you're pretty much in a spot where you're going to come if the caution comes out. I'm not saying this is perfect for crew chiefs, but a decent amount of comfort here, pitting just over 80 laps to go.
Right, and last year we had some teams who tried to go really far, almost 100 laps on a tank of fuel. That was not able to be done. Talking to some crew chiefs, especially those powered by the Hendrick Motor Shop, basically said they've actually seen a little worse fuel mileage this year, so they didn't feel very comfortable that even at this lap number to go that they could make it. They were looking more to be in the sub 80 laps to go, maybe even in the 70s. So I think you most likely see a lot of takers here on pit road for the fuel, but there might be some nervous crew chiefs if we go all the way, especially with possibility of the pre-run checker.
And I would say if you look at last year, you feel like, hey, you're going to get plenty of caution laps to make it work, even if you're close. However, today
Hasn't had that feel.
this race just hasn't had that feel. Big thing here, execute on the pit lane, maintain or gain some track position. Cruz leading him down. He's in front of Allgaier, Sawalich, Carruth, and Jones. It's progressive pit road. Here's Dylan Welch.
And William Sawalich will pit from third. Said he was loose in and off in tight center, but that was getting better. Don't see a chassis adjustment coming, so just air pressure, 4 tires, and get it full of fuel. They think they can make it from here, but as you guys said, it's going to be close, Kim.
Justin Allgaier said, I felt pretty good. Not sure what I need to make it better. The 1/3 mark of the corner is his main issue. See him on the right side of the screen. No major adjustments for him. He does want a long run. That car very good on the long run. As you see the 19 off and away, he said just free, but really good in traffic. Actually, unbelievable is what he said about that 19 car.
And the 19 team, unbelievable as well. They execute their work, and he wins the race off progressive.
Is there anyone else there?
I mean, look at that. Allgaier comes off second. It's Clement, Sawalich, and Carruth behind him. We'll get the restart next.
All right, Brent Cruz wins the race off pit road. So 4 tire stops a little on the early side of the run. We got a long, long ways to go here at Rockingham. Laps wind down pretty quickly here. I mean, altogether, depends on which way you look at it. This race is going to be done within an hour. Just lap counter-wise, still got a decent chunk of the race to go. We're going to restart with probably a little less than 80 laps left, which may be on the edge of that fuel window to make it to the end. We saw a fuel mileage race in the truck race at Rockingham last year. Maybe we see a fuel mileage race now in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race. Wait for our leaderboard to update next time by at the start-finish line, and then we'll see exactly where the front runners will be for the next upcoming restart. We'll take a quick break for now. You're listening live on KRC. Full flag-to-flag coverage of today's O'Reilly race continues on. All right, so Brent Cruz, the race leader, under caution. Justin Allgaier second. Jeremy Clements now third. William Sawalich in fourth, and fifth is Raja Carruth. Sammy Smith scheduled for sixth on the restart. And will be the top half dozen. 30 laps of caution now. Our third yellow for incident. We've had one in each stage so far today. Long, long ways to go. 11-6 for the Tigers. Game faces a weather delay. They may call it. Past the 5th inning. They could call it. 5-run game, you might see that happen. May not quite make it to the end. No fantasy this weekend in the NASCAR Fantasy League with the Cup Series being off. So taking the week off of spotlighting that also.
VN Boat Insurance. It's getting ready for the stretch run here at Rockingham. You know, if there's anyone who knows the value of a good crew, it's the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. That's why they want to put the spotlight on the pit crew members that are essential to a race team's success. Let's go down to Kim Kuhn.
Well, Adam, I think we know Sam Hunt, but let's meet his brother, Joe. You're seeing him on screen right now, who works on the 26 team. While Joe did play D1 football in college as a tight end for James Madison University, he took a different route than most former athletes in racing. Instead of going over the wall, he works as an underneath mechanic for the team. You see some of those old football shots right there, little throwbacks. Well, after college, he actually worked on the ocean rescue team at Corolla Beach, so like real life fame touch. But then at the end of 2022, wanted to do something different. He and Sam had a conversation about the race team running a second car. Sam told Joe if he wanted to spot on the team, he'd have to commit immediately. So a week or so later, Joe showed up on Sam's doorstep with a suitcase and a TV, he told me, and lived with Sam and Sam's wife for a year while learning the ropes. And Joe joked that it stinks having your big brother as a boss because he's bossy. But then he kind of said, no. It's actually great, especially because he could be a support system for Sam in a different way than if Joe did not work in racing and understand kind of the ins and outs and things that Sam goes through.
Well, you know, football went a long way to helping the Hunt family get into racing as well, and a connection to J.D. Gibbs and Joe Gibbs Racing. And so, you know, football families becoming racing families, and a great story there by Kim. So, hey, 19 took 2 tires. That's why they chanted off in front of everyone. Interesting call here for Seth Chapka. They maintain the track position. Brett Cruz control car on the inside to his right. Justin Allgaier, who got 4. Restart 7.
All right, green flag back in the air after Cruz takes right side tires only. Good restart for Williams. So Wallach inside of row 2 gets by Allgaier. May have a shot to get by his teammate Cruz for the lead as well. And does. Cruz might have made contact with the wall up out of turn 2 also. Very close as to whether or not he got against the fence. But he's losing track position fast. Williams Sawallich to the lead. Justin Allgaier in the 7 looking to the inside. More contact back around Jeremy Clements. He backs it into the fence. 39 car got into him. Ryan Sieg. Caution flag is out. Clements quite a bit of damage after backing it into the wall in 1 and 2, just over a lap into the restart. And right after, Williams Sawallich takes the race lead for the 2nd different time today. I believe the first time that Sawallich has the outright lead other than leading a lap or 2 on a restart. Sam Mayer pulling into the garage area, and I think he's going to be done for the day after battling motor gremlins this afternoon. That's a tough break for him. Jesse Love trapped 2 laps down in 30th. By the way, after pitting early on the green side of that last run. So a little bit of contact, 3 wide into the corner. I don't know that the 51 knew that they were 3 wide, but they were 3 wide, kind of pinched down on the 39 of Sieg, who was in the middle groove, and Sieg up against the wall, and around he goes. I should say Clements up against the wall, and around he goes. Loves toast, yeah. Yeah, he needed that to cycle all the way through. Bad strategy call. What it boils down to. He's able to lead for 15 laps early in stage 3, but that doesn't matter when you're running 30 at 2 laps down. Ryan Ellis will get the free pass as the first car lap down in 27th. There's still one more car that's 1 lap down. That's Anthony Alfredo, brought out the last caution. And then Jesse Love would be the second car 2 laps down, only behind Dean Thompson, who also pitted under green before the caution. So he's in the same predicament. A little bit of fuel-saving measures going on under the caution flag after William Sawalich takes the lead on the restart. Brent Cruz barely was able to hold on for second on Justin Allgaier, who was underneath him at the time of yellow, but back to the last scoring loop. Cruz will hold his spot. Still loses the lead to his teammate, the 18 of Sawalich. Couple cars narrowly missing the 51, sliding across the racetrack as a result of that last spin. Back-to-back yellows here. Bringing out now our 6th caution of the day, 4th for incident. 1 hour, 44 minutes and counting in this race. 74 laps to go as we circuit under the yellow flag. Haven't heard Hill all day today, but he's lurking. Kinda. I mean, he's in the top 10 for really the first time today. I haven't really called his name yet either. We'll go through the full field running order here. You got Sawalich in the lead, Brent Cruz is second, then Justin Allgaier third, Brandon Jones fourth, Sheldon Creed up to fifth, Taylor Gray is sixth now. Good comeback for him. Raja Cruz seventh, Carson Kvapil eighth, Parker Retzlaff still in ninth, and Austin Hill 10th. Kyle Sieg with a solid day in 11th, Harrison Burton in 12th, Ryan Sieg 13th, Brendan Poole 14th, Austin Green 15th, and Jeb Burton 16th, LeVar Scott 17th, Blaine Perkins 18th, Alex LeBay 19th, Josh Williams in 20th, J.J. Yaley 21st, Sammy Smith 22nd, Andrew Patterson 23rd, Corey Day now 24th. I think he just hit pit road during this caution again. Nathan Burden 25th, Jeremy Clements 26th, Ryan Ellis 27th, Anthony Alfredo 28th, Dean Thompson 29th, Jesse Love 30th, Garrett Smithley 31st, Joey Gase 32nd, Cletus McFarland 33rd, Blake Lothian 34th, Dawson Cram 35th, Josh Bilicki 36th, Patrick Starpoli 37th, and Sam Mayer just pulled off the track. He's out of the race now, 22 laps down and 38th. I believe the only driver legitimately out of the race so far is Sam Mayer. Doubt we'll see him back on track by the end of the race today. That 41 team has struggled this year. 11th in points after 7 races, and they're probably going to fall out of the top 12 in the chase spots with no stage points and a last place run again here this afternoon as well. That was a team that was second in the regular season standings at the end of last year, only behind, or third, I should say, in the regular season standings last year, only behind Allgaier and Zilich. So the fact that they are possibly out of the top 12 after 7 races this year, huge step down. Teammate Sheldon Creed came in 5th in points and is running 5th today as well.
Meant to be antenna TV. If antenna over the air on your cable system, go to antenna TV. Simple. There will be a quiz later. We should have content if I'm late. Should have read it in boxes and just get bigger and bigger as we go along. 100%. You're a true content creator. Hey, when Hit the Caution came out, Corey Day decided to come down pit road. So let's hear some radio here. Had a lug nut issue.
Yeah, and that's the big thing too, is pit selection next week, as they said, but that also makes them good on fuel. They were a lap or two short, only needed another yellow, and they probably would have been good anyways, but now they're good for sure. And if we don't get another yellow, they may be in the catbird seat.
Ryan Ellis gets the free pass here. 25 cars on the lead lap. Day showing 24th. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, is this a celebration, or I think we've got a bigger issue?
Sure, the tin cans, right?
Yeah. Just very. Here we do the bear bond. Oh no! Hey, we weren't done yet.
I go back though to the Corey Day thing.
That's expensive, by the way.
Yeah, no doubt. I go back to the Corey Day thing and the fact that you come down. Obviously, as Dylan said, you want to make sure you're good on fuel. But the wherewithal to say, let's make sure we got the lug nut on so we don't get a penalty after the race and lose pit stall selection. You got the number one stall at a place like Bristol. Long way to go in this one, but they lose some track position by doing it. But I understand the forward thinking of this group.
Also won both stages. You got 20 points in the
That's true. Yeah.
today. It's going to be a massive points day if you just methodically work yourself forward from here. 72 laps to go. Plenty of time to get back towards the top 15. Maybe the top 10 could be possible with how much speed they've had, and that'd be a massive points day.
We're above the action today here at Rockingham with GovX, providing our aerial coverage. GovX, savings for those who serve. This restart's going to be fun. Cruz, by the way, was second for, there was a minute there where Allgaier was showing second. Used the scoring loops. Cruz is second. He's on the front row with his teammate here. Allgaier restarts inside of row 2. 3 Toyotas from Joe Gibbs Racing up there with Allgaier.
Yeah, Cruz lost the lead on the bottom. He's got a chance at the top. Let's see if this works out better for him.
71 to go at Rockingham. I talked about Brandon Jones, Taylor Gray back in the mix as well.
Roger Cruz all the way to the top with 3 wide down the outside. Austin Hill, little tap. Oh, into Retzloff there.
Look at that outside lane. Cruz able to get through to second. Brandon Jones there as well. Sheldon Creed having a day outside of Allgaier.
Oh, Roger Cruz got too high there. 3 and 4 got the dust. The dirty stuff lost a ton of grip. He was using the outside so well, but gave up a ton of positions in doing so.
It's falling outside the top 10. Ryan Sieg trying to take advantage just in front of him. Parker Retzloff. Let's go on board Jeff Burton. He's inside the top 15.
It's been a workman's day to get there for the 27 Jeff Burton. Not the day they've been looking for. All the Jordan Anderson racing cars just looked a bit off this weekend. They've got that affiliation of RCR this year, but they've still a lot to learn for them. And I think this weekend they're going to have a lot to discuss, but trying to get the best day possible out of it.
Late rally, Austin Hill spent a lot of time outside the top 10 this afternoon, but going after Taylor Gray for 7th here.
Retzloff has decided to continue driving that car absolutely sideways down there in 3 and 4. Allows Roger Cruz to get to the inside. That got tight once again.
Look at Harrison Burton hanging tough in that 24 car. As good a day as he's had all year. Prior to today, best run of the season, 17th. So trying to make something happen this afternoon.
And he'd really like these two to sort it out. You don't want them side by side in front of you. Let's hold them up, make him vulnerable there to his cousin, Jeff Burton.
I just love these speed shots. Really emphasizes what this place is all about. Kyle Petty told us before we went green, it's like Bristol on steroids. We go to Bristol next week. We're getting version number 1 of it here today. Let's go full throttle with Sound Gear. Wherever sound is a problem, Sound Gear has the solution. Scan the QR code to learn more at soundgear.com. Turn it up. CW Sports Live in Rockingham, North Carolina, O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, racing on Easter weekend. Parker Kligerman, I'm Adam Alexander. Kim Kuhn, Dylan Welsh of the pit lane. Carla Metz hanging out in the CW garage. 63 laps to go. Saw a flash there of Austin Green in the 87. He's inside the top 20 and having a good day.
So is that Sunoco car there of LeVar Scott fighting to be inside the top 20, getting really close. Austin Green there. Wow, that's tight.
Well, just in front of them, you got Corey Day, right, who's been all over the place here really in this final stage. We talked about them coming down to put that lug nut on, and he's been able to make up some ground, working his way back toward the top 15.
Austin Green got a little bit looser there when Jesse Love got to his left rear. LeVar Scott says, thank you very much. Gets him away from him. So they were running side by side.
Allgaier had lost fourth to Creed, seven starting to come back. And I'm anxious to watch. If this thing runs out, what does Allgaier have for those Joe Gibbs Racing Toyotas at the front? Because I feel like lately is where he's been good.
Wow.
Carson Quammel trying to get Allgaier and Creed. That was aggressive.
That was a huge run through the center, 1 and 2, wrapping the bottom. Allgaier was trying to get to the inside of Creed. They got checked up. It allowed Quammel to just have a massive amount of momentum there. But it got real tight as they got to the exit of 2. Quammel got really loose off of 2.
You just got to bring it in this place.
You got to take advantage of those moments. That's why he went for it, because he could be sitting behind these 3 now for 10 or 20 more laps and not have another opportunity like that. When it presented itself, he went for it, rightfully so. If he could have netted both those positions, he'd have clean air to even go and chase down Fred Cruz and Sawallich.
You know, the average running position, not great for Sheldon Creed, but he too has found his most success late in the race. Third now as he and Brandon Jones race for a spot there. And here's what we kick it sideways and hang on.
We've seen that so many times there. It's just, that's the O'Reilly Series. These cars at Rockingham, we saw it last year at this place. The way it's designed, yes, it's been repaved, but the things that made it special and unique have stayed the same. The way these corners are, they're just unique to NASCAR, unique for an oval, and they provide awesome moments like that, big slides.
Let's get a report. Brandon Jones, fourth right now, late in the race, Kim.
Yeah, you saw him kind of tuck in behind Sheldon Creed in the 0-0. He had to let Sheldon by to get debris the front of the grill of the 20. The 19, apparently his teammate did not want to help, so they were relegated to the 0-0 helping. They did tell Brandon, just don't let the 7 follow the 0-0 in front of you.
Well, I'm not surprised. I think Fred Cruz is a bit ahead of Brandon Jones. Didn't want to slow down, help his teammate. Absolutely not. He's trying to chase down the leader there of his teammate, William Sawallich, trying to get his first win. But for Brandon Jones, I wondered what would have happened there because I saw it off in the distance out of 2. He slowed up a ton, went to the high side, and then slotted in behind Sheldon. It seemed like a simple pass for Sheldon, and now we know why. He needed the help.
As Paul Harvey would say, now you know the rest of the story.
Oh, just, I don't know the reference, but I think your word for it.
Yeah, I'm older than you.
It's like,
Actually, a lot older than you.
well, I wasn't going to bring it up.
Good battle here. 8th on the line, Austin Hill, Parker Retzlaff. Retzlaff trying to do something that he did earlier this year for the first time ever for Viking Motorsports. Qualify in the top 10, get stage points in both stages, and finish in the top 10. Did that at Darlington. Qualified third for this race, stage points in both stages, and despite the wiggle, it's 9th right now.
He won't quit. He just keeps trying and finding a way forward for Parker Retzlaff. It's been awesome to watch throughout this day. He's had those big moments. He lets the right rear cool back down, takes another run at it. It just seems to continually find a way to move forward, even with that car being pretty sideways all day long.
A lot of drivers right around that chase cut line having good days. William Sawallich is leading, came in 14th in the standings. And we talk about Parker Retzlaff, he was 9th, doing a nice job. And so is the 39 of Ryan Sieg. They have had a lot of bad luck early in this year, had a huge comeback at Daytona, top 10 last week at Martinsville. And despite some things not being perfect for them here today, he finds himself in a really good spot, 11th, and racing Raja Caruth.
Right? I think what I've seen out of Ryan Sieg is They've even, tried a couple strategy things, which is not uncharacteristic for this race team. They take a lot of, I guess, liberties in the strategy department would be the term, in terms of basically, going for low percentage strategies at times. But I think they're in the same position they were a year ago. We talked about he just wants to win a race, desperately wants to win a race. It's been so close before, just a couple years ago. We thought with them, moving this race team to North Carolina, now with the HFT Alliance, that this could be the time period that they finally get to victory lane, but it just hasn't materialized. And they're not afraid to go for it, though. They often try some of these wilder strategies. I mean, some last year, they were the ones that tried to go, 100 laps?
Led 77 laps. Most laps anybody led in the race was a career best for him. But as you said, on the short side of the fuel meter and unable to get the payoff, he settles in one more time in 11th behind the 88 Araja Caruth. Let's go back in the field, and riding 31st right now, 3 laps down, Cletus McFarland. So much hype coming into the day, and they've really checked a lot of boxes this weekend, Dylan.
Yeah, the good thing is he's still out there, right? 50 to go, and he's done what he wanted to do. He's done all the laps so far, albeit 3 laps down, but it's been a pretty quiet and clean day. That scary moment the first couple laps. Start your radio communication, though, and hear a big moment that he had just a few laps ago.
Hang on, it's not going. It's a learning process, right? There's a lot of aero things that are happening with these race cars that he's experiencing for the first time. They lack downforce, they lose a ton of grip, and it add in, one of the things he's experienced, which he and Kyle Petty talked about in the pre race, was getting lapped. Sometimes that can be one of the more terrifying moments there, as Sieg and Caruth get very close together, but that's all part of the experience. And, in terms of the speed, it's what I expected. He's been fairly off the pace in that 33, but kept it clean. That's all you can hope for.
Should these two battle? Been very entertaining. Last 10, 12 laps or so. Sieg and Caruth. By the way, Raja goes back to the 32 next Saturday night. Bristol, Tennessee, driving for Jordan Anderson Racing, and it will be Kyle Larson who gets behind the wheel of the 88. Larson, a winner earlier this year at Las Vegas when he was driving for Junior Motorsports.
Larson again at Bristol.
Yeah, I know.
We experienced that last year.
Last year he was driving the 17 for HMS, and he was just outrageous. So we'll see what he can do in that 88 car, but it really doesn't seem to matter what vehicle he's driving, who he's driving for, as the caution comes out. And
well,
I give you a Dylan this one, since I took credit for this one. Let's
possibly.
Cletus McFarland around, 7th yellow of the day, and the Wheeling caution lights are on.
I don't know if he hit anything.
I think this might have been a scary moment for our leader, William Sawalch. I believe this might have happened right in front of him. We spoke too soon. It kept it clean all day long.
Yeah, but it's not, like he got into the wall, tore it up, got to drive to the garage. Still running. Yeah, he's had a few moments today. But his attitude and approach, just undeniable. The way he has come in here, respected the competition, and this whole opportunity. I love the interview that he had earlier today with Kyle Petty and NASCAR Countdown Live. Just so honest. Kyle pushed him a little bit, said I wasn't totally for you getting this opportunity when it all came about, but I love the back and forth between those two, and Cletus, a fun personality, no doubt.
And there's no doubt you can deny his enthusiasm. Here we're looking back. There's Sawalch in the orange, who's the leader. So this is after Cletus had already started his slide.
Boy, Cruz just barely snuck through there as well.
Yeah. Yep, so this is about similar to what he did in the testing video. Down into 3. That is the toughest corner entry-wise here at Rockingham. The car gets incredibly light. The way it loads the banking, the front end loads first, which causes the rear to want to swap ends with the front. So it's incredibly tough, and definitely it's one of those things where when you get later on tires, later in this race, the grip level's changing constantly. You have to consistently adjust for that.
Free pass here goes to Jeremy Clements, scored 26th. So we'll have 26 cars on the lead lap. Everybody out of tires. Now it's just time to ride it to the finish. And a big restart when we return. William Sawalich out front, the 19-year-old, trying to become a part of history and win here at the Rock. Big finish coming on CW.
All right, so under caution for the third time in Stage 3, 7-time total in the race today, and our fifth for caution, Cletus McFarlane has spun in the middle of turns 3 and 4. Barely kept it up off the inside wall. He'll be able to continue on a few laps down. I believe because of the spin itself, I believe he has now fallen a 4th lap down in the race. A little bit more than 40 laps to go with current race leader William Sawalich out in front for the last 39 laps. Brett Cruz has led for 30 laps today, sitting in second. Sheldon Creed in third. Brandon Jones fourth. Justin Allgaier rounds out the top 5 in fifth. 6th place is Carson Kvapil. Taylor Gray 7th. Austin Hill 8th. Parker Retzlaff 9th. Raja Karuth rounds out the top 10. Curious to see who maybe hits pit road with this caution. Middle of this green flag run. Are tires going to be important enough to maybe come down in pits? There are quite a few cars still on the lead lap. 26 cars on the lead lap right now. So if you do pit, you're going to be buried back in traffic quite a ways. Corey Day led the first 2 stages for the most part. 118 laps led today. Won Stage 1 and Stage 2 from the poles up to 14th after pitting during that last caution. Maybe can leapfrog a few more positions with cars ahead of him pitting if he chooses to stay out. B. Dobson, thanks for tuning in. Several others. Thanks for tuning in. 3rd crash for Cletus today. That was only the first that he was involved in. But yeah, definitely off the pace. I don't know what I was expecting. I was expecting maybe a little bit more. I think he was 26th or 27th in practice yesterday. He's been a little bit off of that so far in the race itself. Just trying to take care of the car. Had a couple of moments where he did get loose earlier. Maybe that's what you're talking about, 3rd incident of the day. He had a couple of close calls, but this is the first time he's actually gone around. Be able to continue on, throw fresh tires back on it, see if he can make it to the finish. I believe a lot of the leaders are staying out of the pits. They have not gotten to the choose rule yet. Lights are still on the pace truck. Either that or they just added another lap of caution, which I think is the case because the field is doubled up. So pretty quick yellow. Sawalich is going to be the inside of row number 1. And the outside, Brent Cruz. First time winners at Rockingham in O'Reilly Series history. I missed the list. David Pearson was one of the names on there. I didn't quite get... Actually, let me rewind the broadcast just a bit. David Pearson, Ernie Irvin, and Ward Burton are the 3 drivers to have won their first career series races in O'Reilly action right here at the Rock. Ward Burton in 1992 was the last time that we saw a first-time winner here. Obviously, a long stay of the series not running races from 2004 up until last season. Even a 12-year stretch of not seeing a first-time winner here before they took that 20-plus year hiatus with the series at Rockingham. Now they'll be going green this time by. And I believe we're going to have about 39 laps to go in the restart. So Sawalich versus Cruz on the restart. Brent Cruz did take right side tires only on the last pit stop, but he has kept track position thus far. though in the slightly dirtier air was not able to keep pace to that of the 18 of Sawalich. Yeah, Sheldon Creed, Brandon Jones in row 2. Pace truck on the pit road. Green flag back in the air again. Couple cars stacking up on the outside lane a little bit further back. So we're getting to the green. I think Jeremy Clements was in that again. He's had a eventful day. 2 spins. Poor restart here. Solid restart for that of Sawalich as he leads by a pretty lengthy amount through turns 3 and 4, getting up to speed. Brandon Jones, Sheldon Creed, door-to-door for third. Creed on the inside, Jones up high, just as they restarted side by side in row 2 in those respected lanes. Corey Day still trying to work his way through the field. Blocked off by Taylor Gray. Big moment, Austin Green. All the way on the apron trying to make a save on the 32 car as he has a pass for position. And now it's just a scrambled mess back around where that was going on. Great save by Green. Now he's up in the gray, and he's up against the wall, up out of turn 2, the very next turn. Up out of the groove, loose again, contact with the wall. And I believe he's got a right side tire down as he's trying to get to the inside of the track and get to pit road. For right now, we stay green. He has to let the entire field pass by. Now he's able to cut to the bottom and get to the pits. Austin Green was running just inside the top 20 before all that commotion on the restart. Brandon Jones making a pass on Brett Cruz for second place, meanwhile, up at the front of the field, and Cruz is maybe in danger of falling backwards with those older left side tires not hanging on as well on this restart. Creed going to make a pass up to third. We saw Jesse Love, who took old tires earlier on the restart, didn't pan out very well for him on the long run, and the same is going on for Cruz right now. Sawalich's lead is 1.9 seconds over Brandon Jones. Sheldon Creed 2.7 seconds back in third. Justin Allgaier 3.4 seconds out of the lead in the fourth place position. 30 laps to go, this time by at the Rock. So you are listening live on KRC. Full flag-to-flag coverage of today's race continues.
Oh, yeah. He just got in the wall there. Something might definitely be wrong with the 19.
For 32 to go. That's a long way to ride it out. Allgaier goes by. His teammate could be the next one. 54 is Taylor Gray. Cruz has been so good today. Led 30 laps. Got a great average running position. You hope he can hang on to it. Talk so much about no margin for error for this team. Carla referenced they've gotten good stage points today, but a bad finish when you're in position is so hard for this team who's missed races and trying to get into the chase. But he's fading fast. Quampo gets by. Carruthers there, and so is Parker Ritzloff.
He's really good. We're stripping there. That could be a slow leak in a tire, essentially going down. He's going to have to assess this quickly and eventually make a decision. He hit pit road. This is all part of the learning experience. Doesn't have a ton of experience in these cars to know is it a tire going down? Is it some other issue? But he's obviously off the pace, just hanging on.
Riding on board, Austin Hill. He's able to get ninth away from him. The parade continues with Sieg and Sammy Smith.
And I think he's hit pit road here.
Unscheduled stop, 28 laps to go. Here comes Brett Cruz.
Smart decision.
Go back, they took those 2 tires when he was in control of this race. And they made that pit stop at lap 67. Comes back now with a tire issue. And as he deals with disappointment, right of your screen, left of your screen, William Sawalich back across the start-finish line, 27 laps away from his first career victory. And veterans racing for third, Sheldon Creed, Justin Allgaier. We're taking a look there at the right front. Taking their time. 4 tires for Brent Cruz. It was the right decision to just get off the racetrack when he knew the issue was too big to stay out there. Very mature move for the 18-year-old. Be 25 laps to go. We come around the next time, and I'm thinking, actually, as we hit the start-finish line here, we hit 25 laps to go, and I'm thinking about William Sawalich, and you got this big advantage. 25 laps here in a test session and practice is nothing. But in this scenario, what is he managing behind the wheel?
Well, first of all, that chaos happened behind him. He's like, hey, everyone, keep it together. Really, please, keep it together right now. And you have basically a 2-second gap. You're staring your first win in the face. Car's obviously doing everything that he's asking from it. Clean air. You just want to run laps. Focus on running those laps. Hitting your marks. Being disciplined. Being methodical about it. Keeping in check what you need from that race car. Honestly, there is that caution. You've got to do a restart. You want to keep that in the back of your mind as Creed was way up the racetrack right there. Kept it off the wall.
Allgaier now third, but he's 3 seconds almost behind race leader William Sawalich.
I think Creed was just starting to really test the limits of how high you could run in the corner there. Got his right rear up into the dust.
Lap car there, the 74 Dawson Cram. Sees a few drivers inside the top 10 dance around. Gray, Retzloff, Austin Hill. Let's have a look at this for Sheldon Creed.
Yeah, and what happens in these races, especially repays, you get braver and braver like this because there's forbidden fruit up there. The higher you go, it feels like there's more grip until suddenly there's none when you're in the dust and you have to park the car in the corner like that. Feels like it has no grip suddenly. It's almost like hitting ice, essentially, when the tires get covered and all that debris that's up there. But there is speed at times at these tracks like this. When you're in a repave, you get to some fresher asphalt, it pushes up and up. Throughout the race, you get braver with it, and then eventually, as they say in the dirt world, jump the cushion, essentially.
We've seen many times today how fine that line is.
Yes.
William Sawalich comes across the start-finish line 20 laps away from victory number 1, Dylan.
And you guys were talking about what he's managing inside the car. They're literally just managing the gas. Jeff Mindering has come on the radio a couple of times here over the course of these last 50 laps or so, and just reminded them they've got one of the fastest cars every single lap. Don't burn your stuff up here. Just save a little bit for us if we have to do a green, white checker or something at the end. So just cruising right now. It's been interesting to watch him all day. And right here, they focus specifically on wrapping the bottom lane and finishing the corner. So being strong off the exit in practice yesterday. And they felt like that was going to pay dividends for them today. That is where he's made the most hay, right around the white line today, and not showing any signs of leaving in here over the final 20 laps, Steve.
And his teammate Brandon Jones running in that second position. And when I talked to crew chief Stan McCauley, he was very optimistic coming into this weekend. He said, look, last year we qualified 6th, ran top 5 most of the race, even led 6 laps, but just ended up in that late race pile-up, finishing 12th. There were 2 additional things that he noted that were going to help his driver this weekend excel. One was the fact that he's got his regular spotter on the spotter stand, Chris Lampard. Last year, Chris took the weekend off, so it's all cup weekend. And Sam said immediately after Rockingham's race last year, they called him and said, yeah, we're not doing that next year. We want you on top of the spotter stand. He's a huge help. He notices trends. He's obviously a veteran spotter. And the other thing is, they've got SMT data this weekend. They did not have that last year. And Brandon is a big studier. So he would study that after practicing qualifying yesterday. In fact, Brandon told me this morning, look, I had 3 or 4 blank sections in my notes from not having SMT last year. So having that data makes a huge difference. We're seeing that right now. Again, Brandon Jones running P2.
And chasing down the leader right now. He's cut into that lead. Couple tenths in the last few laps. They were pretty even on the last lap. Some of it's when Sawalich runs into traffic, but he has been quicker.
Allgaier was chopping into it as well, and his progress has leveled out a little bit.
Oh my goodness. See how the cars run into each other.
Yeah, Austin Hill getting into the backside. Cletus McFarland. Cletus is going to hear that squealing noise in his sleep tonight. He's been sideways a lot. 14 to go for Sawalich.
Yeah, that's going to be haunting him. He's going to be paranoid about spinning sideways for a little while, probably until he gets to Talladega in a few weeks in his second O'Reilly Series start and a few more attempts. William Sawalich out in front by 1.6 seconds over Brandon Jones in second as we've got about a dozen laps to go this time by. Just kind of steadily managing that gap between himself and Jones. They've been trading lap times back and forth. I don't know if Jones has anything for his teammate. Justin Allgaier in third's closed down a little bit of his deficit. He was about 2.6 out of the lead when he first got by Sheldon Creed. Creed has fallen by the wayside. He's over 4 seconds back now. But Allgaier's down to 2.2 seconds. So if anybody's going to have a shot at Sawalich, I think it might be the 7 of Allgaier if this stays green to the end. Or Sawalich is just going to maintain and go on to get his first career win here at the Rock. With Sawalich in first and Brandon Jones in second. Third place is Justin Allgaier. Sheldon Creed in fourth. Carson Kvapil is in fifth place. Sixth is Raja Karut. Taylor Gray seventh. Parker Retzlaff eighth. Austin Hill ninth. Ryan Sieg rounds out the top 10. Corey Days only made his way back up to 11th. That's Sammy Smith 12th. 13th is Harrison Burton. Brendan Poole 14th. LeVar Scott 15th. 16th is Jeb Burton. Nathan Bird 17th. Alex LeBay 18th. Josh Williams 19th. And Andrew Patterson in 20th. J.J. Yaley is 21st, Ryan Ellis 22nd, Blaine Perkins in 23rd, Jeremy Clements 24th, Anthony Alfredo 25th, 26th Brent Cruz after pitting under green. Jesse Love did the same thing, wrong side of a caution is 27, 2 laps down. Dean Thompson 28th, Gary Smithley 29th, and Blake Lothian in 30th. 31st, Joey Gaze, Cletus McFarland 32nd, Austin Green 33rd, Dustin Cramp 34th, Patrick Staropoli in 35th. Josh Bilicki, 36th, 37th, Kyle Sieg, Sam Mayer, 38th, and that rounds out our full 38-car field. Lead is still about 1.3 to 1.4 seconds for Sawalich over Brandon Jones. Allgaier about 2.1 seconds out of the lead, still in third. Down around 7 laps to go. For Sawalich, you just don't want Jones to get dangerously close. Sheldon Creed, since getting up into the gray and getting very loose, I believe has just lost rear security in his race car. Gets split 3 wide out of turn 4 by both Raja Karut and Carson Kvapil. And for Karut, he's actually going to pick up 2 positions out of that, getting by both the race cars. So Karut now to 4th. Kvapil remains in 5th and back 2 spots for Creed to 6th. 88 car ripping the wider line around this racetrack, probably better than anybody else that I've seen so far in the late laps. Really got a good rhythm going up there, but we saw Sheldon Creed step a little bit over the edge once, and he hasn't been able to rally since then. While you're flirting with disaster, Karut doing a good job keeping the car underneath of him for the time being. 5 seconds out of the lead, gonna have no shot at the top 3 unless we have a late caution. But if we do have a late caution, running that line, will that work better for him in a late race restart situation? Carson Kvapil not going away, as he's really running the bottom lane of the racetrack well and trying to keep up with the 88 after losing that spot a couple laps ago. Sawalich's lead is still a little bit over a second. And Allgaier still 1.7 back in third. Sawalich lapping around Cletus McFarland again through 3 and 4. Cletus staying out of the way of the leaders. Lap counter, I believe, is down to anywhere between 3 to 4 laps to go. There's a severe thunderstorm watch that is covering the lap counter on the CW locally for me. So I think I'll know when they get to the white flag. When I see the flag man waving the white when he crosses the start-finish line. But until then, it's hard to know exactly how many laps we have left. Anywhere between 2 to 3 to go as he crosses the start-finish line this time by. Sawalch has actually increased the lead back out to about 1.2 that time by at the line. White flag, I believe, is going to be in the air this time. Next flag will end the race, whether it's the yellow or the checker. 1 lap to go for William Sawalch. No pressure whatsoever from Brandon Jones. Green flag run of just less than 40 laps to get to the end of the race. No problem. Great restart. Great car all day. Sawalch quietly inside the top 5 and leading all of his laps in stage 3, 80 of them. Checkered flag in the air. Sawalch is a winner at Rockingham. Brandon Jones in second, Justin Allgaier third, Roger Kruth fourth, and Carson Quapple will round out the top 5 in 5th. Sheldon Creed brings it home in 6th, Taylor Gray 7th, Parker Retzlaff 8th, Ryan Sieg 9th, Corey Day gets back up with a top 10 finish in 10th. He won the first 2 stages of the race and actually led the most laps too, 118 laps led. Austin Hill 11th, Sammy Smith in 12th, Harrison Burt 13th, Brendan Poole 14th, and LeVar Scott 15th. Nathan Bird 16th, Jeb Burton 17th, Alex LeBay 18th, 19th for Josh Williams, and JJ Alien 20th. Andrew Patterson 21st, Ryan Ellis 22nd, Blaine Perkins 23rd, Anthony Alfredo 24th, 25th for Jeremy Clements, Brent Cruz 26th, Jesse Love 27th, Dean Thompson 28th, Garrett Smithley 29th, and Blake Lothian in 30th. Joey Gase 31st, Cletus McFarland in 32nd, Austin Green 33rd, Patrick Starpoli 34th, Dawson Cram 35th, Josh Balicki 36th, Kyle Sieg 37th, and Sam Mayer rounds out the 38-car field. And I believe only Mayer and Kyle Sieg had DNF'd in today's race, both with mechanical failures. Tough break for Sieg because he was as high as 11th at one point, I believe at the end of stage 2. Mayer had gremlins on and off with the motor of that race car since the start. No stage points today for him, and a last place finish should bump him out of the top 12. And he's going to have to fight from behind after an early season point standings hold. 80 laps led again for a race winner today. William Sawalch, margin of victory 0.8 of a second over Brandon Jones. Most laps led Corey Day 118. 8 lead changes, 7 cautions. For 44 caution laps, we did finish under the regulation length of 250 laps and just over 250 miles. 2 hours, 22 minutes, and 36 seconds total time on today's race. Of those 7 cautions, 5 for incident, 3 in stage 3, and then 1 in both stage 1 and stage 2. 60 likes on the stream. Greatly appreciate that, everybody. We'll go through the start times for next weekend's live commentary stream after an interview with our race winner, William Sawalch. First career win coming at Rockingham.
Made it over the wall. And this has been a long time coming. A lot of speed throughout the first year and a quarter or so of this guy's O'Reilly Auto Parts Series career, and knew that it would come together eventually, and they were confident it could be today, and they delivered on that promise. Here's Mom in for a hug. Mom in for a hug. William, let's chat. Congratulations. There have been some tough times in the first year or so of your career. How rewarding is this moment after all those trials and tribulations?
I mean, it means everything. It was obviously a tough year last year and a tough start to the year this year. I mean, these boys mean everything to me. They were here with me through everything, and my family. Gosh, it feels good to get it done here at Rockingham in front of an awesome crowd. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. Our sound gear, GR Super, was on rails today, obviously. Good in stage 1, stage 2, and obviously amazing clean air.
The lap traffic, the last closing laps, what were you trying to just remind yourself of to just be as efficient as you could getting through that to hold off the 20?
Well, funny enough, lap traffic took me out last year, so I'm trying to run it through my head a little bit. But man, I mean, I just, studied the race last year and just calmed down and everything's fine.
Congratulations. William Sawalch, a winner at last in the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series.
How many times do you see it? It takes a while to get that first win.
Yeah, a couple of first-time winners this season. Sheldon Creed and now William Sawalch. both out of their rookie seasons in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. And with the laps led by Corey Day and Brent Cruz today, we could see a couple of more first-time winners before the season is up. Greatly appreciate everybody that tuned in for live commentary streams both today and yesterday with the Craftsman Truck Series race and the O'Reilly Auto Parts races at Rockingham. Cup Series off tomorrow, so no live commentary. Happy Easter to everybody, and hope you have a good holiday. As far as next weekend's live commentary streams, here is our streaming schedule. Friday night will be the next live commentary stream in 6 days' time at 7:30 p.m. Eastern at Bristol Motor Speedway for the Craftsman Truck Series. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on Saturday night with Cup practice and qualifying before that at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. NASCAR Cup Series racing will finish things off on Sunday afternoon. We'll begin with our pre-race coverage at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. Again, that will be live all here on the channel. Bristol Motor Speedway across Truck, O'Reilly, and Cup Series racing. Hope you have a good rest of your night, good rest of your weekend. Happy Easter, everybody, and I will see you guys next weekend.